XFM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Hawaii and parts of Japan have downgraded tsunami warnings after an 8.8 magnitude earthquake in Far East Russia. Atmospheric scientist Matthew Capucci.
The release of this slip between tectonic plates was equivalent of basically detonating 1 trillion kilograms of TNT.
I'm Michael Wallace. The tsunami warning for Hawaii and much of the West Coast has been downgraded to an advisory, meaning there's still a chance of more waves. Governor Josh Green says many areas had waves of 5 feet.
We will only give the all clear when we feel there's total safety.
Richard Bisson is the mayor of Maui County, where the surge was measured at 11 feet.
Right now, no reports of any damage, no injuries.
Waves were about 2 feet high in Oregon and about a foot along part of California's coast.
Powerful waves as tall as 16 feet make that people along that coast are being told to stay off beaches, with warnings of rip currents and dangerous surf. Camille Dahman lives in Honolulu.
Everybody is moving inland and upwards. That has been kind of the case for just about every single person that I've talked to. Everybody has somewhere to go, just either get to higher ground or get out of those tsunami zones kind of by the coast.
Powerful waves as tall as 16 feet crashed into Russia's coastline. We're learning more about the gunman who police say drove cross-country from Las Vegas and killed 4 people at a New York City office building before shooting himself to death with an AR-15 that he assembled himself. CBS's Jared Hill from Manhattan.
He had a history of mental illness going back to at least 2022. That was the same year he obtained his concealed firearms permit. Sometime after, he allegedly called police saying he was suicidal. But according to Nevada law enforcement, suicidal ideations are not a reason to confiscate a permit.
President Trump accusing the late Jeffrey Epstein of, quote, stealing young women employed at Mar-a-Lago. He explained to reporters on the flight home from Scotland.
He took people, and because he took people, I said, don't do it anymore. You know, they work for me. And he took, beyond that, he took some others. And once he did that, that was the end of him.
The NTSB begins 3 days of investigative hearings today on the deadly midair collision of an American Airlines jet and an Army Black Hawk helicopter near Washington in January. CBS's Eleanor Watson from the Pentagon.
The board, which is investigating the crash, will hear from officials across different agencies, including the Army, which has not yet given a substantial briefing to the public since the tragedy. While the investigation is ongoing, the Army, though, has paused helicopter flights to and from the Pentagon, which is situated closely to a D.C. airport and one of the most congested airspaces in the country.
67 people were killed in the crash. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
It is now 6:03 and we've got clear skies, 77 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and the news is sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
A major turnaround for Boeing's St. Louis Defense Division. The unit swung from a huge loss last year to a profit this quarter, but in the middle of that good news, there's the threat of a strike.
That turnaround is being driven by major military contracts. Boeing is building more T-78 trainer jets for the Air Force and just started testing the Navy's new MQ-25 refueling drone, all of which helped to boost revenue by 10%. But the talk on the investor call was about the 3,200 local machinists who rejected a contract on Sunday that started the clock on a strike. While CEO Kelly Ortberg called the potential work stoppage manageable, the union has been quiet since the vote. That means with no new talks scheduled, those workers could be on the picket line next Monday. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The St. Louis County executive attended Tuesday night's council meeting and briefly touched on the investigation by Attorney General Andrew Bailey into what is believed to see if Sam Page had any involvement leading up to the Prop B election in April.
Dr. Page denies any wrongdoing. He says his phone was confiscated and he has hired attorney Jeff Jensen using his own personal funds.
I can't imagine that anyone has done anything wrong. I will cooperate fully with the investigation.
But the council is concerned they had no knowledge into Dr. Page's phone being taken or exactly what AG Bailey is looking for. But for Council Chairwoman Rita Hurd Days, she says good, bad, or indifferent, if we know what's happening, we can deal with it.
I'm disappointed that he had to leave early, but I'm hoping that we can understand what communication really means.
Councilwoman Shalonda Webb.
To me, just reading the tea leaves, that means something is there. You don't go and get a private attorney, as people would say, lawyer up, if there's nothing to lawyer up for.
The majority of the county council maintains that the Page administration used taxpayer money for a partisan campaign against Prop B.
We saw money from his PAC, which is called Page PAC, that were being sent to different groups to be used to advertise and to buy postcards.
Webb gave Dr. Page until noon today to turn over all information about the investigation to the council. If that does not happen, Webb tells KMOX, then they will subpoena the information. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Both lawsuits challenging the state takeover of the St. Louis Police Department will be heard later this year in Cole County courts. Judge Daniel Green will preside over the challenge from Board of Aldermen President Megan Green and the challenge filed by two citizens represented by Arch City Defenders. The trial is scheduled to begin November 5th. The state-run board appointed by the governor met for the first time earlier this month.
A local police department is hiring an investigator who doesn't get a badge.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Department is opening a new crime lab later this year, giving the department a chance to have a civilian crime scene technician.
It's a civilian crime fighter position.
Under Sheriff Lieutenant Colonel Tim Whitney.
We already have 3 full-time crime scene investigators on staff right now, and they're commissioned police officers. And their primary job is to collect and analyze evidence.
The civilian crime scene tech will work the same cases as those with a badge, like homicides to child abuse cases. Whitney says the department is following a national trend to hire civilians to fill in the gaps.
Locally, St. Charles County started with it. St. Louis County's adopted it, and we are as well.
Jefferson County Sheriff's Department received an eye-popping 180 applicants for the civilian crime scene technician position, with some promising candidates.
Many of which had degrees in chemistry, biology, and forensics. And they're very interested in, again, helping get these important cases across the finish line.
Salary is between $55,000 to $84,000. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Next month's installation of metal detectors at the Metro station next to Enterprise Center is on hold.
In a statement from Comptroller Donna Behringer, she says there were issues with lack of protocol at the Gateway Transportation Center in downtown that prompted her to pause the metal detector deployment. Behringer says Amtrak did not have plans for what to do when weapons were discovered by the metal detectors or how to return them to riders when they exit at other stops. The station has had its share of gun violence in recent years, including in 2022 when a 17-year-old was shot and killed. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Keep your eyes peeled for big white envelopes at a St. Louis area attraction or institution today. You could win a free monthly Metro Pass. The day-long giveaway is part of the No Red Day campaign, pushing people to take transit more often to avoid red air quality days.
We will be at random stations and stops throughout the morning commute with envelopes, but it really will be luck of the draw, no pun intended.
That's Kim Sella with Citizens for Modern Transit. Here is one of your hints. A park that's big with trees so tall, there's room to run, to play, and sprawl with museums, art, and a zoo that's free. This green space is the place to be. What could that be?
Let me think about
That's
that
a
one.
tough
Gosh, that is tough. Coming up.
This is KMOX religion editor Fred Bottomer. The International Shroud of Turin Conference is about to get underway in St. Louis. All the details are coming up.
It's 6:08 traffic next.
Calling all soccer fans. The Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club. Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
Ouch! Check from behind. Man, that's gotta hurt. I'd hire Morgan & Morgan if I were them. What? Yeah, Dan, America's largest injury law firm. They serve up justice, ice, cold, law. Know what I mean? I guess. Their gloves come off when they fight for you. Okay. I'm talking a settlement slap shot. Shouldn't we be talking about the game? Yeah, Dan. Morgan & Morgan.
Proud partner of the St. Louis Blues. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
If something happens to you, what happens to your family? Will they struggle financially? Will they be able to afford the home you built together? With Ethos, you can get life insurance coverage in minutes. Get up to $2 million in coverage for as little as $2 a day. All online with no medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Rates may vary. Billed monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's take a look at 610 at your ride-in and the weather, which is going to change. This heat is going to break soon. Details on that in just a moment. But first, here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it looked great out there right now, Debbie, as you get out the door. Like you said, it's sort of swampy weather-wise, but traffic-wise looking good. The problem we had on westbound 44 before Big Bend where the tractor-trailer crashed into the median and had a big fuel spill. That's been all cleaned up. All lanes are back open. Everything's on the go there in Kirkwood, and they're doing road work. Westbound 64, just like they do a lot of mornings, between K and Winghaven, left lane closed. There was some delay through there earlier. It sorted itself out. Things look great through there. At this point in time right now as well. They reported a stall in the right lane, westbound 64 near the Boone Bridge, so just use a little caution if you're headed that way into that stretch. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
An extreme heat warning until 7 this evening. Partly sunny, hot and humid today with a high of 94 and AccuWeather real fuel temperatures up to 105. But there'll also be a thunderstorm or two this afternoon and this evening. Any thunderstorm can produce damaging wind gusts and flooding downpours. Later tonight, mostly cloudy, warm and humid with a spotty thunderstorm, low 74. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and much cooler, but still rather humid with a shower or two, even a thunderstorm in the area, high 80. A nice day Friday with more sun than clouds and much lower humidity, high 81. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Right now, clear 77, feels like 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. Weather sponsored by Chuck's Boots, the Midwest's largest boot stores. Boots for every walk of life. Rugged work boots, stylish fashion, comfortable hiking boots, cowboy classics, uniform boots, and motorcycle gear. Chuck's Boots in Fenton and St. Peter's, chucksboots.com.
It is 6:12, and if you love ice cream, you live in the right place.
Labor stats show Missouri has one of the highest proportions of workers in the ice cream making industry in the U.S. The North American Ice Cream Association is headquartered in Wildwood. Total Information AM spoke with Executive Director Steve Christensen about one of the big challenges for the industry, pricing.
As costs like fuel and transport and the butter index goes up and down, you know, the raw product or the base product that a lot of ice cream shops use increases in price too.
Missouri is home to big factories like Prairie Farms and Good Humor Breyers, along with smaller manufacturers like the Ice Cream Factory in Lebanon and Clementine's in St. Louis. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Ice cream can be part of a balanced diet. Michelle Wilson, registered dietitian with Brands Nutrition, says it can provide calcium and protein. Wilson points out when we restrict cravings, it can make them worse.
Are we telling ourselves, I'm never allowed to have ice cream again? Then it's like, I want to have tons of ice cream now.
Wilson says if you include ice cream in your diet, it's good to balance it with other things like protein and fiber.
St. Louis-based Spire making a multi-billion-dollar move into Tennessee. The company says it's buying Piedmont Natural Gas from Duke Energy for nearly $2.5 billion. That acquisition expands Spire's territory to a fourth state, adding more than 200,000 customers in the Nashville market. Spire says it may sell off other assets to help finance the deal, which still needs the green light from regulators before it can close early next year.
Well, it didn't take long for Plaza Frontenac to fill the space formerly occupied by Landmark Theaters. Talbot's will be moving from another location in the mall, and Abercrombie & Fitch, which currently has no St. Louis location, will also be opening in the second floor space near Saks. A spokesperson for Plaza Frontenac tells the Business Journal that both retailers should be settled in by the end of the year after more than $1 million in renovations.
Some of the world's leading Shroud of Turin experts will be in St. Louis beginning tomorrow to take part in the International Shroud 2025 conference.
This is a big deal for those who study, research, and believe in the authenticity of the shroud. Conference co-chair Cindy Schultmeyer.
It's believed to be by millions the burial shroud of Jesus Christ. And the reason that it has captivated all these researchers for over 100 years is that nobody can figure out how the image was made. It is a 14 by 3 foot cloth with the image of a crucified man front and back.
Nearly 50 speakers and researchers from all around the world will be here to present their latest findings during this 3-day conference, which will take place at the Augustine Institute in North County. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The Inside Pitch is sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. They're also the sponsor of Ollie Marmol's visits on the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon, and he is getting really good at this. I mean, he has been good on the radio. He has been open. He's been honest, and he swings and does not miss. Take a listen to this one on the future of the Cardinals organization as he sees it, especially in his visits with Chaim Bloom, the incoming president of baseball operations.
When you take a step back and you think about what we're trying to do over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and being able to sit down with Chaim as well and talking through what's possible for this organization moving forward, I don't want to make decisions that feel good in the short term, and then we're stuck in this middle ground for another couple years. I want to be able to, even in my seat as I sit here, I want to make sure that we're not sneaking into the playoffs every year. I want to beat people's ass and like you show up to the field. There's a difference between showing up to the field and taking your best shot and showing up to the field knowing you're going to win. And once in a while, you may get beat. That's different. I want to get to the point where this club and this organization is back to doing exactly that, which is you show up every day knowing you're going to win. And at times, somebody beats you. And in order to do that, we're going to have to make some tough decisions. But it doesn't mean that I'm not showing up today trying to win. I can guarantee that.
That's Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol on the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. He makes his appearance. Today's show will be at 12:05 with Joe Torre, the Hall of Famer, former Cardinals manager, scheduled for 12:30 today. It's a good reminder that the Cardinals have 11 world championships, the most of any National League team. 19 National League pennants, the third most of any team behind the Dodgers and the Giants in the National League. But the Cardinals have also won 15 division titles. Ollie won one in 2022, but making a strong statement there about the team moving forward. They are about to change presidents of baseball operations. John Mozeliak's contract expires at the end of October, and Chaim Bloom takes over. Also, the trade deadline is tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Both will be collaborating on that. When I asked John about Chaim's involvement, Mozeliak said that he is part of the team, a team of people that meet together to discuss the trades and what's to come. The Cardinals are expected to deal one or more of their expiring contracts in terms of relievers. Ryan Helsley, Steven Matz, Phil Maton would qualify for that group. Cardinals were beaten yesterday by a former Cardinals pitcher, Sandy Alcantara. He went 5 scoreless. Cards lost at a Busch Stadium 5-0. They'll be playing them again today. 6:45 start tonight here on KMOX as the Cardinals go for the series win. Cardinals are only a game over 500 at this point. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
That baby's gone! Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals. That ball was mashed. And there are more ways to watch this season. Holy cow! Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts. How about that play? Or watch through a TV provider. Incredible! Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. He got it! Learn more at cardinals.com/TV. Ball game! It couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After proving the doctors wrong following my accident, I got back to baseball, started kicking field goals, then finally got paid as a pro kicker and ultimately became a leader in the marketing world. That's why I trust Renner Garage Door, exceeding expectations for over 65 years. They service, sell, and install top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster. Get your free quote today. Check them out at RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Charlie Brennan with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. What can people expect when they visit one of your doctors at the Audiology Center?
Expect a friendly greeting and a waiting room stocked full of refreshments. But more importantly, a patient should expect that they're treated on an individual basis. We are not retail, and we pride ourselves on our medical model. Each hearing aid is catered towards each patient's unique needs. Expect a full history intake where we get to know you and your personal needs. And then we'll complete a full battery of tests where we can adequately diagnose your hearing health. We want you to understand those results right away. So directly following your tests, we're going to go over everything extensively. Finally, at that time, we'll develop a customized treatment plan built around you as an individual.
The Audiology Center, 3 locations in the St. Louis area, 636-441-7470, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:20 and time for traffic and weather. We started out the morning with some issues, which is not always the best way to start the day. But let's see how things are unfolding now from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Here's Roger Brand.
Well, looking great right now, Debbie. This traffic report's a service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. We had some overnight troubles. The one trouble spot was westbound 44 in Kirkwood around Big Bend, but they cleared it up about 20 minutes ago. Everything's back to normal. Roadwork's still going on. We had delays a little bit ago, but there's no delay right now. Left lane is closed on westbound 64 between K and Winghaven, but it's not bothering anybody. Eastbound 64 and 70, southbound 61 included in that assessment. They're all on the go, headed across the Missouri River bridges for you right now. Northbound 55 still looking good through Butler Hill and north of Bayless downtown. Westbound headed for the Poplar Mutual Veterans Bridges. Traffic is light and on the go for you there as well. So it's a pretty nice morning for you so far. Chances are you have a lot of people who depend on you, your family, maybe even employees. Life insurance from Penn Mutual can provide you peace of mind and protect the most important people in your life. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Next update is 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Extreme heat warning until 7 p.m. And then we're going to have a thunderstorm or two this afternoon or evening that could cool things off. High 94, real feels near 105 until then. Later tonight, low 74. Tomorrow, high only 80, still humid. Friday, pleasant and less humid with sunshine and a few clouds, a high of 81 degrees. Currently, it's 77 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:22. One of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded has hit off Russia's sparsely populated Far East. It sent tsunami waves into Japan, Hawaii, and the U.S. West Coast.
Tsunami warning sirens in Honolulu Tuesday evening, where people sought higher ground after an 8.8 magnitude earthquake struck near Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula. Damage and evacuations were reported in Russian regions nearest the epicenter, and the local governor reported the first tsunami hit the main settlement on Russia's Kuril Islands. The Japan Meteorological Agency said an initial tsunami wave of about 1 foot had reached the northern island of Hokkaido. Tsunami warnings were also issued for Alaska and south toward New Zealand. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center said waves of 3 to 9 feet above tide level were possible along coastal areas of Hawaii, Chile, Japan, and the Solomon Islands, and higher waves possible along coastal areas of Russia and Ecuador. I'm Ben Thomas.
I'm Michael Wallace. The tsunami warning for Hawaii and much of the West Coast has been downgraded to an advisory, meaning there's still a chance of more waves. Governor Josh Green says many areas had waves of 5 feet.
We will only give the all clear when we feel there's total safety.
Richard Bisson is the mayor of Maui County, where the surge was measured at 11 feet.
Right now, no reports of any damage, no injuries.
Waves were about 2 feet high in Oregon and about a foot along part of California's coast. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Officials in New York and Las Vegas are investigating the gunman who killed 4 people in a New York City office building Monday.
They are combing through the suspect's 2 cell phones he left here at the scene and also visiting the gun store in Nevada where he legally purchased a revolver. Meanwhile, here in Midtown, officers continue to patrol in front of 345 Park Avenue where there's a growing memorial of flowers and balloons lining the walkway nearby, remembering the 4 innocent lives taken.
At CBS News, New York's Christina Fan.
Today, the Federal Reserve will conclude its 2-day policy meeting, and it's widely expected to not take any action. We get more from CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell has emphasized that the central bank can afford to wait and see because so far the economy has been able to create jobs and the inflation rate has remained fairly stable even as tariffs have been initiated. If the Fed takes no action, it means that interest rates on credit card balances and auto loans will remain steep.
New economic data out of Tuesday aims to gauge consumer confidence. CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady.
Overall consumer confidence, it tracks how people are feeling about the economy, their financial situation, the labor market. But you can actually break that down into how they're feeling currently about the situation and how they're feeling about things in 6 months. We actually saw a bigger increase if you look at the 6-month picture, but a drop if you look solely at that current picture.
New data from the CDC looks at the mental health and drug use of Americans, particularly young teens. The data shows that if you have 100 teenagers, 19 had generalized anxiety, 15 had depression, 10 had suicidal thoughts, and 3 actually attempted to take their own lives. What shocked CBS's Dr. John LaPook most?
For people who have substance abuse, only 19% had gotten any help in the preceding year. And, this is at a time when we're cutting services. The national organization that looks after substance abuse and mental health has had its numbers cut in third. At a time when I think we need it the most.
It forever changed the way people in the U.S. over 65 get health care. President Lyndon Johnson signed Medicare into law 60 years ago today.
Less than a year later, July 1st, 1966, Medicare went into effect, providing health care for about 19 million people. Today, more than 67 million people are covered by Medicare. Over the years, more people have become eligible for coverage, and many benefits have been added, including prescription drug coverage, wellness, preventive care, and hospice care. Christopher Cruz, CBS News, Washington.
From the KMOX archives, 50 years ago today, former Teamsters president Jimmy Hoffa disappeared in suburban Detroit. His son, James Hoffa Jr., told reporters a few days later he was confident his father would be found.
We are definitely going to get to the bottom of this, and then this matter will eventually be resolved.
Mr. Hoffa, do you believe your father is still alive?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Well, because there's no evidence that he isn't.
Hoffa was never found. He was declared legally dead December 8, 1982. The younger Hoffa was Teamsters president from 1998 to 2022.
I'm Maria Kina with reaction from Illinois lawmakers on the United States Postal Service problems.
That's coming up at 6:30. Traffic and weather next. It's 6:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-885-9700. 800-885-9700. That's 800-885-9700.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, if you can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence, Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Soccer fans, St. Louis City SC hosts English Premier League giants, the Aston Villa Football Club, Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial, retiresafestl.com. Have you ever wondered what it's like to work with a financial advisor? Are you in your 50s or early 60s and really haven't talked to anybody about how you retire? Give me a call today. Check out our website, retiresafestl.com.
It is 6:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got sunshine and 77 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's turn things over to Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, we're looking good on the highways right now, Tom. I mean, it's a little busier, but not bad. If you're on northbound 55, looking good through Butler Hill. There is a bit of a slowdown, though, just from about River to Pear up to Virginia. By the time you get to Virginia, it opens up. Eastbound 30, just a little slowdown at Mauer. They are sending EMS. I believe there's a crash report at northbound 67 at Double C. See a short jam there right now. We'll keep an eye on that and see how much worse that gets. Right now, just a very short backup, but it is pretty solid there on northbound 67. Otherwise, 70 and 64 eastbound coming out from Wentzville look good across the river bridges. Downtown, we look great. Westbound 64, 55, 70, Musel Veterans, Poplar bridges, again, lightly occupied. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. Extreme heat warning until 7 p.m. Thunderstorm or two this afternoon. High of 94. Later tonight, low 74. Tomorrow, less humid, but still humidity around, high 80. And then Friday, less humid, high 81. Really nice weekend. Beautiful start to the weekend. Saturday, high 82. Sunday's high 84. All 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sunny and nice. Currently, we have sun and we have humidity. Warm temperatures right now, it's 77 degrees.
A story KMOX has been reporting exclusively on people not receiving their mail on time or at all in some cases. We wanted to know if Illinois is facing the same problems with the U.S. Postal Service.
And the land of Lincoln is too. Last week, we talked with Congressman Mike Boss, now Nikki Baczynski, and she says Congress is the last line of defense.
We want to see current investments increase, staffing shortages filled. We need to be looking at investing.
Baczynski says lawmakers on both sides of the aisle do not want the post office privatized.
Also say for those that are already working full-time, they're being asked to do more and more overtime.
As KMOX reported, letter carrier and union shop stored at the Southwest Station, Nate Markovich, told KMOX what happened in St. Louis.
We had 59 routes in total, and probably 70 to 80 carriers, and they took away 13 routes and expect people to do 1.5 to 2 routes in 8 hours.
And that's just one station. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The construction industry faces ongoing labor shortages and additional challenges from federal immigration policy. But tonight, 19 young people will graduate from the Apprentice Ready Construction Program offered by the Missouri Works Initiative. The students spend 8 weeks exploring the trades and learning how to get into the apprenticeship programs. Tim Green is Executive Vice President of the Electrical Connection.
Everyone's talking about these data centers and some of the new generation by the utilities for more electric. So there's going to be a lot more career opportunities in our trade. So yes, it's a good livelihood. It's a good living.
Green says they've been getting as many as 800 applications for their apprenticeship program. They generally take around 50 people. The IBEW NECA Electrical Industry Training Center has produced more highly skilled electricians and communication technicians than any other program in Missouri. The graduation ceremony is being held at IBEW Local 1.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. And we'll take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll tell you more about beating the heat, and we'll get you your update from Bloomberg. Stay with us. It's now 6:34.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Your Money Report at 6:35 is sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
Good morning. American and Chinese trade negotiators who met in Stockholm agreed to extend the current tariff truce. Now it's up to President Trump to make the final call before the truce expires 2 weeks from now. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told reporters there are a couple of technical details to work out. Officials at United Airlines and its flight attendants union have both signaled their commitment to further contract talks. United's attendants rejected a contract offer that would have provided pay increases of up to 46% over 5 years. The union says it will survey members to identify key issues they want addressed. DraftKings defeated consumer class allegations that the company used deceptive marketing to attract users. DraftKings had a $1,000 sign-up bonus promotion that an app user claimed was deceptive. But a federal judge said there was nothing misleading because the terms of the eligibility were posted in a conspicuous manner. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:39, traffic and weather in 1 minute. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page has lawyered up following an investigation allegedly into a mailer he sent to voters earlier this year warning about Prop B. According to the law, taxpayer money cannot be used to advocate, support, or oppose the passage or defeat of any ballot measure. Page said he can't imagine anybody did anything wrong. His phone was confiscated. He says he will fully cooperate with the investigation.
The body of a missing O'Fallon, Missouri woman has been found. 36-year-old Kiwana Montgomery was last seen Sunday. Her body was discovered near a drainage culvert just south of Highway K and Christina Marie Drive. No word on a cause of death. Police say her death does not seem criminal or suspicious.
The security director for St. Louis Public Schools has resigned just 3 weeks before the first day of classes. Terrell Baker was with the district for 8 months. According to his LinkedIn, Baker has taken a job in emergency operations with the Missouri School Boards Association. His resignation comes as the district also deals with staff and students from 7 schools relocating because of tornado damage to their buildings and a new transportation vendor taking over.
Let's see how your commute is looking. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's not bad so far, Tom. This traffic report's a service of Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical. It turns out there was a report of a vehicle fire, maybe just a vehicle smoking northbound 67 at Double C. There's just a short delay through there. It hasn't gotten any worse, so it doesn't look like it's really blocking anything. Once you get on 55, you're good down south in the Festus area. It is slow, though, from Bayless all the way up through Virginia. Pretty busy on northbound 55 at that point. Eastbound Highway 30, seeing some heavy traffic coming in from Northwest Boulevard to Gravois Bluffs and from almost West Watts, and definitely before you get to Mauer, it's slow up the hill to 270. But once you get to 270, North 270 itself still running great. Eastbound 70 and 64 coming in from Wentzville, fine. Downtown, still looking good across the Poplar. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
In the 70s, baseball player Jerry Kelly decided to do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
This year, the company Jerry started decided we'd do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air, and Electrical.
And electrical.
JerryKelly.com.
All right, Joe Lundberg of AccuWeather. We all want to hear it. Tell us what's going to happen with our crazy hot weather.
Relief is on the way, Debbie. After today, the heat is done. Humidity will be done after tomorrow, too. So the relief is close at hand. Unfortunately, there may be a hefty price to pay. There's some pretty bodacious thunderstorms right now in the northern part of the state, generally moving northeastward, but the whole area is sagging southeastward. So it's going to get hot and humid ahead of it with enough sunshine to get into the 94-degree range this afternoon. But that's about the time the thunderstorms will start knocking on our door. And when they come through, there's probably going to be some damaging winds and flooding downpours associated with them. That's going to have a big impact, I think, on traveling this afternoon and this evening. Things quiet down later tonight. Leftover thunderstorms, still humid, the low 74. Then tomorrow, much, much cooler. Still kind of humid, lots of clouds, a shower, maybe a thunderstorm, the high 80. And then finally, it's all gone. Beautiful weather starting on Friday. Sunshine, low humidity, temperatures only in the low 80s with more sun than clouds Saturday, and mostly sunny Sunday, the high in the mid 80s. 78 in St. Peters, 80 in Florissant, partly cloudy, 82 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Joe, thank you. And as the forecast shows a break in the heat, parents are breathing a sigh of relief.
At the Gateway Arch, some parents were out with their children despite the mid-90s temperatures. Parents like Jameson and Lauren acknowledged they were unable to do everything they wanted with the blistering heat.
We have not been able to go to Six Flags.
And that's something that you typically do during summer?
Usually, yeah.
As for their kids, what do they miss doing during this heat wave? What have you guys not been able to do outside during the heat wave that we've been dealing with that once it cools off in a couple days you're looking forward to doing?
Ride my bike.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Members of the dog entertainment venue Bar K received an email saying, "We are writing to share the heartbreaking news that Bar K will be closing permanently, effective immediately." The company says there isn't a single cause and blames economic factors.
I think their business model had to change a little bit, and they lost a lot of the bar and food and beverage revenue. And so I think they were kind of turning more to the dog park thing, and then just wasn't a lot of people.
St. Louis customer Trey Shaw says he noticed fewer customers without dogs and more efforts like trivia nights to attract casual patrons. The email says Barquet does not have the resources to issue refunds. Shaw says he feels fortunate he was just charged $25 for a monthly set of 4 visits. Some people just got charged $500 for their unlimited yearly membership.
Electric vehicle sales in Illinois are going well, but officials are worried the trend won't continue. WBBM's Cisco Cotto.
Illinoisans registered almost 37,000 electric vehicles last year. That was the largest year-to-year jump since 2017 when the state first started tracking it. However, the Sun-Times reports Illinois is still well below its 1 million EV goal by 2030. So far, around 150,000 EVs are registered in the state. Experts say infrastructure is the biggest problem. There's just not enough charging stations. Tax credits for buying EVs go away in September, and many experts think that could depress sales even more.
Clement Auto Group is investing millions in St. Charles Car Row on I-70. They're in phase 2 of their $30 million development. Phase 1 was the 12,000 square foot Clement Super Center selling used vehicles. Phase 2 is a $15.5 million service center. They broke ground last week and should be done with it by spring of next year. According to the Business Journal, the 2 projects together will have more than $90 million in economic impact and add about 120 jobs.
It's 6:45 and time to look at who's hot, who's not. Sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Cardinals dropped one 5-0 to the Marlins yesterday. Let's turn our attention to KMOX's Matt Pauley.
It was not the Cardinals' best performance, losing to the Marlins 5-0. With that, arguably the most notable appearance comes from relief pitcher Matt Swanson, who throws 2 scoreless innings. It drops his ERA to 3.31, and he's not given up a run in 9 of his last 12 appearances. Manager Oliver Marmol is enjoying watching his development.
He's always on the attack. He's not going to scare, which is great. And that sinker at that velo plays well. He spins it off of it. We've seen him now a couple times, and every time I trust him in certain situations. He's someone that you continue to give opportunities to. I think he'll open up some eyes.
Swanson's .86 whip and 162 batting average against would rank in the top 2 in all of baseball if he had enough innings to qualify. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
And this just continues the Cardinals' confidence in their up-and-coming relievers. Now, if they lose Ryan Helsley, Phil Maton, and Steven Matz, that is a big loss to the bullpen for the rest of the season, but it will give opportunities to pitchers like Swanson, like Riley O'Brien, and others. To Gordon Graceffo would go into this category of pitchers who will get opportunities in high-leverage situations. Right now, those big situations are going to Jojo Romero and Phil Maton and Ryan Helsley. If those pitchers get traded, there will be opportunities for others. The Cardinals are seeking starting pitching help. They have really been sapped in their depth in the minor league system. Most recently, Tekoa Roby, who goes on the injured list, undergoing Tommy John surgery. The Cardinals are only a game over 500 in the National League Central. The leader right now is the Milwaukee Brewers. They actually have the best record in baseball right now. 64-43, a .598 winning percentage for the Brew Crew. They've won 3 in a row. They blasted the Cubs yesterday 9-3. The Cubs right now are 2 games out in the Central. The National League wild card race has the Cubs, the Phillies, and the Padres, the 3 teams. San Diego, having won back-to-back games in St. Louis, has now won 4 in a row. The Reds are 3 games out of the final wild card spot, so that wild card has taken shape. Cubs, Phillies, Padres right now. Division leaders, Brewers, Dodgers, Mets. Those are the 6 going right now in the National League. In the American League, you have Detroit, Toronto, and Houston leading their respective divisions, with the wild card, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Mariners. The Rangers sit a game out of the final wild card spot in the American League. St. Louis City SC plays tonight at home against Aston Villa. That is a Premier League team that will be a lot of fun to watch. City go up against those talented footballers. You can watch it on our partners, Fox 2. They are going to carry it tonight at 7 o'clock. St. Louis Composting, they're a great partner. STLcompost.com. I got asked not long ago, where did you get that mulch again? And where should I get mulch delivered to my home? STLcompost.com. It's that simple. St. Louis Composting is the best in the business. 9 locations in the St. Louis area. They highly recommend that you go to stlcompost.com to see how you can have it delivered. Now, if you want to avoid the delivery fees, all you have to do, if you have a truck or trailer, just pick up your order at any of their 9 locations. No need to order online. Just stop by and they'll take care of the loading. Where are the 9 locations? Go to stlcompost.com. They're all over the place. Compost, mulch, soil, custom soils, even tree, lawn, and landscape waste drop-off at St. Louis Composting. stlcompost.com.
Calling all soccer fans, the Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
The KMOX City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. It's the Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill on Lindbergh, Thursday, August 7th. A limited number of fans can get an autograph or picture with City SC defensive midfielder Jake Gerwood-Wright. Register to win great prizes. Enjoy great food and a cold drink. Hot Shots on Lindbergh, the place to be, Thursday, August 7th from 6 till 8 p.m. for the City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is time at 6:50 to check in with Roger Brand. He has the latest on your ride-in from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've got a little bit of a backup on 255 in Metro East right now, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Siding Express. We have a crash on, I guess we'll call it southbound 255, just south of Seminary Road. A little bit of a jam up approaching Seminary Road on southbound 255. The front end of it's opening up, so it looks like maybe they're making headway there. Northbound 55, you just got some slow traffic. Bayless up to River to Pear. Northbound 270, that Doherty Ferry run up to Manchester is a little slower right now. Slow traffic on eastbound 70 from Highway A into Highway K. It's just kind of crowded and off the pace all the way through there. Of course, the sun's in your eyes on the eastbounds, but not too intense, and it's not bothering any of the other eastbound drivers so far. And downtown westbound, just a little busy on the Poplar Street Bridge. Transform your home with the beauty and durability of James Hardy Siding. At Siding Express, we specialize in James Hardy Siding installation. Visit sidingexpress.com today to schedule a free consultation. That's sidingexpress.com. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast from Joe Lundberg. We're looking at a heat advisory, extreme heat warning until 7 p.m. Chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon and evening. High today of 94. It'll feel like 105, but a low of 74 tonight. Tomorrow still humid, but a high of only 80. Friday, less humid. Saturday, Sunday as well, with highs in the low 80s. Right now, it's humid, and it's going to be hot. Get ready for one more day of that. It's 78 degrees.
The news continues at 6:52. Police have released the only suspect arrested in Sunday night's deadly shooting at a birthday party in Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Mount Vernon Assistant Police Chief Travis Chapman says typically the department gets tipped off about large parties that frequent the area of Logan and Lamar Streets, but not this time.
It was mass chaos. 100, 150 people all running.
2 were killed by gunfire, 5 injured. Police aren't saying how many shooters there were, but believe there was more than one. 22-year-old Jariah Smith was arrested at the scene with reckless discharge of a firearm and obstruction of justice. But the state's attorney's office told police the charges weren't going to stick.
But we felt like we had enough at the time to make the arrest, and those charges could be coming back here shortly once we get the evidence that the state attorney wants.
Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
A Bethalto man accused of severely beating a nursing student now faces an added charge of committing a hate crime. Madison County prosecutors filed the new count Monday against Joshua Morrison. He was already charged with aggravated arson and battery for the July 19th attack on 22-year-old Winston Rouleau, which authorities say was motivated by Rouleau's sexual orientation. Rouleau's mother tells the Post-Dispatch she considers the hate crime charge positive news, but says she's still urging authorities to file an attempted murder charge as well. Rouleau is recovering from his injuries at home. Morrison remains in the Madison County Jail.
A fight between two St. Louis Wendy's employees turned deadly. Police were called to the Wendy's in the 3400 block of Union in North City about 7:30 yesterday morning. Investigators say two employees got in a fight that spilled into the parking lot. The 52-year-old allegedly stabbed his 28-year-old coworker. That's when the 28-year-old shot and killed the 52-year-old.
U.S. News and World Report is out with its annual Best Hospitals rankings. Here's KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer telling us how our local hospitals fared.
Local hospitals took the top 3 spots in Missouri. Barnes Jewish Hospital came in at number 1 in the state, followed by Mercy St. Louis at number 2 and Missouri Baptist at number 3. St. Luke's Hospital in Chesterfield ranked number 5, while Mercy South came in at number 7. Barnes Jewish Hospital, meanwhile, ranked nationally in 11 out of 14 specialties. Mercy St. Louis ranked high performing in 3 specialties and in 20 procedures and conditions. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
It is 6:55.
It sure is. Which means it's time for birthdays. We have a ton. Bud Selig, former baseball commissioner, is 91 today. Ricky Horton, Cardinals broadcaster, is 66. Happy birthday, Ricky. Happy birthday to
Pagnozzi. Swings and a long fly ball to right center field, way back at the track, at the wall. Home run!
Tom Pagnozzi. He is 63 today. Love Pags. Also celebrating a birthday today, this guy.
Baby. Hasta la vista, baby.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is 78 today. Lisa Kudrow is 62. Lawrence Fishburne is 64. A lot of actors. Hilary Swank, 51. Jimmy Cliff, 81.
Local celebrity birthdays are sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Chris Hankins, Fran Levine, Lisa Bedian, Brian Goodwin from the Life Group. Happy birthday to KMOX's own Rachel Zimmerman. And if you happen to be visiting us today here at 1220 Olive, say hi to Tammy at the front desk. It's her birthday as well.
This is the best birthday ever.
Gamma Tree Experts. I don't know if it's their birthday, but they started in 1954. That was a while ago when Frank Gamma started the business. And now here they are in 2025, still going strong with a fleet of vehicles throughout the St. Louis area, residential, commercial, you name it, municipal service. Gamma Tree Experts will take care of your trees, your valuable trees that you love so much. They're going to make sure that they are well preserved. Gamma Tree Experts, a team of horticulturists, tree experts, urban foresters who are going to take great care of you. They have been doing this for decades now. Tim Gamma, Tom Gamma, they own the business, and they have some great people working for them. They've come over to our home for well over a decade now, making sure that our trees are in top shape. They always have some good ideas for us, and they make sure that we are kept safe, because if there are any trees that are dying, well, you don't want that to happen during a thunderstorm, that's for sure. Gamma Tree Experts. Visit them online at gammatree.com, 314-725-6159. Your trees deserve the best care.
You've heard of Old Town Donuts, but did you know they were voted the best donut shop in America? That's right, and they've got 2 locations right here in Florissant and Cottleville. Stop by Old Town Donuts today and see why they're the best donuts in the country.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
That baby's gone!
Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals.
That ball was mashed.
And there are more ways to watch this season.
Holy cow!
Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts.
How about that play?
Or watch through a TV provider.
Incredible!
Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more.
He got it!
Learn more at cardinals.com/TV.
Ball game! That couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Selling your car online sounds easy. Snap a few pics, list a price, then what? Wait weeks? Haggle with strangers? At Suntrop Ford, we actually make it easy to sell your car. Visit Suntrop Ford Kirkwood or Westport, and our expert appraisers will give you a fast, fair offer on the spot. Or skip the trip and get an instant quote at suntrupford.com. No guesswork, no games, just the best price. Visit suntrupford.com today. Get more at Suntrup Ford.
Traffic with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
What's on? We got some slow traffic north 55 Bayless up through Virginia, northbound 270 approaching Doherty Ferry to Manchester, eastbound 70 still kind of busy. Lake St. Louis headed into Highway K, and so southbound 255 still a backup through Seminary Road where you have a crash. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Wednesday, July 30th. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
Boeing's defense business improves its financial performance, but could get hit by a St. Louis strike. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Tom Ackerman.
We now know more information about the Missouri Attorney General's investigation into the county executive. I'm Maria Kina with what Sam Page is saying.
A tsunami warning for Hawaii downgraded after being triggered by one of the largest earthquakes on record.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Partly sunny, hot and humid today. Watch out for a strong thunderstorm or two this afternoon and this evening. Our high 94.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. An 8.8 earthquake, one of the strongest ever recorded, shook homes off Russia's far east coast. It sent tsunami waves into Japan, Hawaii, and the U.S. West Coast, where a tsunami warning has now been downgraded to an advisory. Geophysicist Chip McCreary.
We're past the worst part of it. We're not going to see any impacts bigger than we've already seen.
Evacuation orders have been lifted in Hawaii, where this tourist had heeded official advice.
This is our first tsunami warning ever, so this is all new to us. So we decided just to get out and go to higher ground.
People along the California coastline have been warned not to go near beaches. Stephen Grilly, professor of ocean engineering at the University of Rhode Island.
The main risk is going to be strong currents, particularly in harbors and marinas, any kind of narrow river, mouth. So you have to be very careful, because even with a little bit of elevation, the tsunami moves a lot of water in and out multiple times.
CBS News has obtained video of a suicide note left behind by the suspect in Monday's mass shooting at a New York City office building. He was a former high school football star who claimed to be suffering from CTE. CBS's Lilia Luciano is on Park Avenue.
He appeared to blame the NFL, saying, quote, "The league knowingly concealed the dangers to our brains to maximize profits. They failed us."
His note asked that his brain be used for scientific study. President Trump explained to reporters on his flight home from Scotland he ended his friendship with convicted child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein when he stole young women employees from Mar-a-Lago.
He took people that worked for me, and I told him don't do it anymore, and he did it. I said, stay the hell out of here.
A UN-backed group warns a worst-case scenario of famine is unfolding in Gaza. CBS's Deborah Pata.
We flew with the Royal Jordanian Air Force on a mission to drop aid into Gaza, where already nearly 150 people have died of starvation, according to the health ministry. This plane is loaded with about 20 pallets of aid. That's roughly the equivalent of one truck entering Gaza, a drop in the ocean.
The Fed is expected to reject President Trump's call and leave interest rates unchanged when it wraps up a two-day meeting today. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell has emphasized that the central bank can afford to wait and see, because so far the economy has been able to create jobs and the inflation rate has remained fairly stable.
Dow futures up 13. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply. Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
It is 7:04. Right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got plenty of sunshine. It is 78 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We could be heading for a strike at Boeing's St. Louis plants. Thousands of machinists could walk off the job as soon as next week, but the company's top boss says he is not really worried.
During a call with investors, Boeing's CEO said the potential strike in the St. Louis area is not a huge deal for the company's bottom line, calling it much, much less of an issue than last year's massive walkout in Seattle. But that's not how the 3,200 members of the Machinists Union see it. On Sunday, they overwhelmingly rejected a contract offer from the company and are now in a 7-day cooling off period. What's next? Without a breakthrough in talks, they could walk off the job next Monday, which would directly impact the production of military jets like the F-15 built in St. Louis. Boeing's St. Louis defense operations did have good news in the investor call, with revenues up and performance stabilizing. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page briefly addressed the county council last night following a revelation that Attorney General Andrew Bailey is investigating him about a campaign mailer about Proposition B.
Proposition B was a charter amendment that would have given the county council authority to fire department heads. The measure was voted down. However, a majority of the council members complained that the Page administration used taxpayer money for a partisan campaign to defeat B.
I have turned over my cell phone. My attorney will be Jeff Jensen, paid for with personal funds.
Page said Tuesday night, quote, "I can't imagine that anyone has done anything wrong." Well, that didn't sit well with the council. Chairwoman Rita Herdays.
Good, bad, or indifferent. We can deal with it if we know what's happening. And I did not, and maybe some of the others did.
Do we definitely know that this is an investigation into the Prop B activity?
We do not know. We have not seen the subpoenas. I've asked for a letter. I've asked the county exec to provide us an actual details of what it contains, and I haven't seen anything yet.
That's Councilwoman Shalonda Webb. Mark Harder tells KMOX during the run-up to the election, the council was concerned because they say Page had direct involvement.
At the time, he had people in his administration that were attending town hall meetings throughout the county to advocate against Prop B.
Webb tells KMOX they have requested information from Dr. Page. If he does not turn it over by noon today, they will then issue a subpoena. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Both lawsuits challenging the state takeover of the St. Louis Police Department will be heard later this year in Cole County Court. Judge Daniel Green will preside over the challenge from Board of Aldermen President Megan Green and the challenge filed by two citizens represented by Arch City Defenders. The trial is scheduled to begin November 5th. The state-run board appointed by the governor met for the first time earlier this month.
Plans to install metal detectors outside the Gateway Transportation Center have been put on hold.
The downtown train and bus station next to the Enterprise Center was originally set to receive the metal detectors beginning next month. Comptroller Donna Barringer says in a statement the newly announced delay is due to a lack of a full implementation plan never being completely developed. According to Barringer, Amtrak does not have protocol for handling weapons discovered by the metal detectors or how to return them to passengers at other stops. The metal detectors have sat in storage for 2 years but have never been deployed, according to Barringer. A timeline for when and if the metal detectors will be installed has not yet been determined. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Well, if you just re-upped your membership with Bar K, the popular dog-friendly bar near the Grove Entertainment District is closed permanently. In a letter to customers, Bar K says, "We regrettably do not have the resources to issue refunds." Customer Trey Shaw reacts to that.
My payment just went through yesterday, so I'm out that 25 and change. So I got lucky, I suppose.
Some St. Louisans report recently getting charged $250 or $500 for renewal of their yearly memberships, but Bar K's owners say all three locations, all in the Midwest, are shuttered. They blame economic pressures. In St. Louis, the venue also faced a lawsuit over back rent from developer Green Street.
It is time for us to take a break. It's 7:08, and when we return, we'll take a look at traffic and weather. This is Total Information AM.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan.
Our firm handles hundreds of crash cases involving semi-trucks every year. A crash case involving semis is much different, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave lots of money on the table. Many times there is separate insurance for the cab and for the trailer. Sometimes there are actually layers of other insurances and excess insurance that some lawyers may not know about because they don't see that many cases. We see these cases every day. Also, there are federal laws governing the hours a driver may drive in a 24-hour period and logs that are required. A crash case involving a semi-truck is a totally different animal than a simple car crash. We have lawyers who only handle these cases. It's all they do. Rolling the dice with the wrong law firm can be disastrous. Call us on your cell phone at Pound Law, pound 529. It's so easy. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley for i3 Broadband, the internet provider in the Pauley household. I think you'd love it if you had them as well. We've got the 2 gig package at our home, 2 gig upload, 2 gig download mirrored, and we're spending less money than we did with the cable company for lesser service. Plus, right now, they've got savings over $400 beyond their already low standard pricing. You got questions? They've got answers. Call 877-976-0711, and they've got people there who can answer all your questions, or head to their website, i3broadband.com.
1 in 4 people surveyed by Bankrate.com say they're literally losing sleep because of worries that they may have not saved enough to retire. If you're ready to get serious about planning for your financial future, you could start by listening to the All Financial Hour with host Steve Auld of the All Financial Group.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different. If you want assistance, we can also help you at that point.
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
710, Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's not a bad morning on the highways, Tom. If you're hitting the road right now, the interstates are pretty lightly occupied. I mean, we're getting busier, but basically just slow down. So if you're on northbound 55, there's barely a slowdown. Weber up to River to Pear, North 270 from Doherty Ferry, maybe call it north of Big Bend up to Manchester, just kind of slow running through there right now. Eastbound 64 looks good coming out of Wentzville. We did have a slowdown through 94. That looks better now. From Lake St. Louis into Highway K is kind of busy on eastbound Highway 70, but after that, okay. Downtown, just a little slow westbound 64 between 3rd Street and Route 3. Northbound Route 3, though, backed up from Queenie up to Monsanto. Looks like there could be a train crossing there. And we still have, no, actually, it looks better now. It looks like they may have cleared this crash. Just a little bit of a slowdown. Really, it looks like we're back to normal. Southbound 255 passing Seminary Road. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather and extreme heat warning until 7 this evening. Times of sun and clouds, hot and humid again today. But watch for a thunderstorm or two this afternoon and this evening that can reduce damaging winds and flooding downpours. The high 94. AccuWeather real field temperatures up to 105. Later tonight, mostly cloudy and sticky with a thunderstorm in the area, late low 74. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and much cooler, but still humid. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the area, the high 80. A nice day Friday with lower humidity and more sunshine, the high 81. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Right now, we've got partly sunny skies, make that partly cloudy skies, 78 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
It's 7:12. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. Also in the news this morning, recent reports suggest Gen Z is increasingly drawn to the trades, in part due to the skyrocketing cost of college. Tim Green with the Electrical Connection says tonight 19 high school age people will graduate from the Missouri Works Initiative's Apprentice Ready Construction Program, or ARC. The students spent 8 weeks exploring the trades and how to get into various apprenticeship programs.
When I was in high school, there was an emphasis on trades and shop, and I think high schools got away from that for a while, and I think St. Mary's has taken the initiative of putting it in the forefront as a career opportunity. Everyone doesn't want to go to college. Everyone doesn't need to go to college. Everyone does need a career.
St. Mary's started a pre-apprenticeship program. Some of the students were referred by Boys and Girls Clubs. The graduation ceremony is at the IBEW Union Hall. The Electrical Connection will present a $20,000 check in continued support of the ARC program.
Missouri has a big scoop of the nation's ice cream making business.
Yeah, there's a lot of ice cream being made and consumed in Missouri.
That's Steve Christensen, Executive Director of the North American Ice Cream Association, founded in 1934 in Wildwood. Missouri has one of the highest proportions of ice cream manufacturing workers in the country, from big operations to micro creameries.
We've got some great ice cream manufacturers here, large scale. Prairie Farms is one of the biggest ice cream manufacturers in the country. They're based here. We have smaller factories as well. In fact, a company called the Ice Cream Factory has a factory in Springfield. Clementine's has a factory downtown.
When it comes to local ice cream shops, Christensen says there's a strong sense of nostalgia for going out with your family for a cone of your favorite flavor. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Well, good news for ice cream lovers. Nutrition experts say you can absolutely keep it in your diet.
So some of the things that could be benefits is that it is a dairy product typically, so it's going to have more of that like calcium, and it has some protein in it. So it can have some nutrients that can be beneficial, and also it's delicious and we enjoy eating it. So we get those positive hormones that get released when we eat things we enjoy.
Michelle Wilson, registered dietitian with Brands Nutrition. She says due to the high fat and sugar content in some ice creams, you may need to balance that with more protein and fiber. She says more nutrient-dense options may be frozen yogurt, gelato, or sorbet. It's 7:15. Let's start our coverage with John Rooney as the Cardinals took on the Marlins last night, John.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. Last night at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, it was Graham Pauley hitting a 2-run homer in the second inning. Then the Marlins added on a run in the fifth, 2 more in the sixth inning, and blanked the Cardinals 5-0.
Very few balls hit hard on the Cardinals' offensive side. Sonny Gray was okay. He was better than the last couple of starts, still gave up a lot of hits, and really the story of the game was the Marlins' ability to hit with 2 outs. They got a lot of hits with 2 outs, scored a lot of runs with 2 outs.
And they beat the Cardinals 5-0. Sonny Gray falls to 10-5. Sandy Alcantara 6-9. His last pitch in the bottom of the fifth inning struck out Alec Burleson, leaving the bases loaded.
His last pitch was his best pitch. It was a changeup, and Burley can be very dangerous, and he got him, and that, I think, really shut the door on the Cardinals' offense.
The rubber game in the series takes place tonight. It's Cal Quantrill for Miami, Miles Michaelis for the Cardinals, and we're on the air at 5:50 for a 6:45 game.
Gentlemen, we're 2 days now, less than 48 hours away from the trade deadline. It's going to be tomorrow at 5 p.m., so there's still plenty of time. It's likely that Ryan Helsley is going to be traded. Helsley right now is one of 2 most coveted rental relievers in Major League Baseball. David Bednar of the Pirates would be the other one. Helsley's contract expires at the end of the year. And why would this go down to the wire? Well, if you're the Cardinals, you probably want to wait to see what kind of return you're going to get. You have so many teams looking for a reliever like Helsley: the Phillies, the Blue Jays, the Rangers, the Tigers, the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers. They have tons of pitching prospects in LA. They all could use Ryan Helsley. So it would be a natural thing to wait until the last minute to see who is going to give you the best deal. But here's an interesting twist. And Derek Gould with a story in the Post-Dispatch. This is Player to Bank On, brought to you by Community America Credit Union, invested in you. We'll go with Ryan Helsley here, where Derek talked to him and he said that he'd be open to signing with the Cardinals and coming back. Now, a qualifying offer for Helsley would be one thing, but would he be willing to do a long-term deal as a free agent? The question is, would the Cardinals be willing to pay him that kind of money, or do they think that they have plenty in reserve in the future to back end their bullpen? But we'll see what happens. He is the longest tenured Cardinal on the current team. As Gould reminds us, Ryan Helsley likely to be traded tomorrow, but we'll see. The others with expiring contracts: Phil Maton, Steven Matz. Cardinals said to be getting a lot of calls about those 2 pitchers. Even Jojo Romero, who has another year on his contract, could be very valuable and coveted at the deadline, which is, again, 5 o'clock tomorrow. Tons of coverage on KMOX, the Gas House Gang, Redbird Rush Hour, Sports Open Line, not to mention this show, Total Information AM, with all of your trade deadline coverage. Gas House Gang today at 12:30, we're going to be joined by Hall of Famer Joe Torre. 7 o'clock tonight, it's Aston Villa at Energizer Park, taking on St. Louis City SC. Our partners at Fox 2 are going to carry that contest. I'm Tom Ackerman on the Voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
104.1 FM KMOX. News, talk, sports.
Calling all soccer fans, the Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
Hi, my name is Christina Straight, the owner of Straight Realty, and I'm asking you, what do you want in a realtor? Do you want experience? I've been a broker for over 21 years. Do you want to know how much I've sold? I've sold over $500 million, yes, $1 billion with a B, in sales. Do you want value? I now list properties for only 2%. So, if you're looking for all these things and want the best, then call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri. Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, 7:20 and time to get you updated on your ride in. And Roger Brand starts us off there. He's got the latest for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, it looks like there's still a train issue on Route 3 over in Sauget. Northbound Route 3 is backed up from Judith up to Monsanto. Southbound Route 3 is basically backed up to the Poplar Street Bridge, so a real jam's building both ways there. Hopefully that won't last too much longer. Westbound 64, just a little busy past the 70 split. After that, it's in good shape across the Poplar Street Bridge. Northbound 55, just the usual slow stuff there from Bayless, headed up through Weber. Northbound 270, slower from 44 up through Manchester. South 270, Ladue to 64 is busy. Eastbound 30, West Watson to 270, some volume running that way. Southbound 61 at Wentzville Parkway, a brief slowdown. Prospect most of the way to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, a little heavy after that. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, again, Lake St. Louis in through to Highway K, just a slower run through that particular stretch right now as well. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says an extreme heat warning is still in effect, and it goes until 7 o'clock tonight. A thunderstorm or two this afternoon and evening could not only produce damaging winds and flooding downpours, but drop the temperature. High of 94 today, and later tonight, low 74. Tomorrow, high only 80 with some humidity. Friday, less humid with a high of 81. Currently, it's 79 in downtown St. Louis. Weather sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
The news continues at 7:22. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page lawyering up following an investigation into a mailer he sent to voters earlier this year warning about Proposition B. According to the law, taxpayer money cannot be used to advocate, support, or oppose the passage or defeat of any ballot measure. Page says he cannot imagine anybody did anything wrong. His phone has been confiscated. He says he'll cooperate fully with the investigation.
The security director for St. Louis Public Schools has resigned just 3 weeks before the first day. Terrell Baker was with the district for 8 months. According to his LinkedIn, Baker has taken a job in emergency operations with the Missouri School Boards Association. His resignation comes as the district also deals with staff and students from 7 schools relocating because of tornado damage to their buildings and a new transportation vendor taking over.
A fight between two St. Louis Wendy's employees turned deadly. Police were called to the Wendy's in the 3400 block of Union Boulevard in North City about 7:30 yesterday morning. Investigators say two employees got into a fight that spilled into the parking lot. A 52-year-old stabbed his 28-year-old coworker. That's when the coworker shot and killed the 52-year-old.
The body of a missing O'Fallon, Missouri woman has been found. 36-year-old Kiwana Montgomery was last seen Sunday. Her body was discovered near a drainage culvert just south of Highway K and Christina Marie Drive. No word on a cause of death. Police say her death does not seem criminal or suspicious.
Police trying to identify multiple gunmen from Sunday night's deadly shooting at a birthday party in Mount Vernon, Illinois. 2 people were killed, 5 injured.
Mount Vernon Assistant Police Chief Travis Chapman says it happened between Logan and Lamar Streets, a part of town known for large parties, but police had no intel on this one.
We had 5 officers working that night, so you can imagine the chaos with 5 officers to 100, 150 people with with a call that saying gunshots just happened and there's multiple gunshot victims.
Chapman says at first, 22-year-old Jariah Smith was arrested with gun charges, but she was later released after the state's attorney's office said there wasn't enough to charge her. Police aren't saying how many people they think fired off guns at the party, but they are asking those that attended to submit video through a portal on the department's website to help identify the shooters. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
KMOX goes in depth on the New York shooting where 4 people were killed Monday inside a Manhattan office building.
Officials in New York and Las Vegas are investigating 27-year-old Shane Tamura, who killed himself after the shooting. CBS News' Christina Fan begins our team coverage in Midtown Manhattan.
They are combing through the suspect's 2 cell phones he left here at the scene and also visiting the gun store in Nevada where he legally purchased a revolver. Meanwhile, here in Midtown, officers continue to patrol in front of 345 Park Avenue where there's a growing memorial of flowers and balloons lining the walkway nearby, remembering the 4 innocent lives taken.
CBS's Lilia Luciano has more on the 4 victims.
All 4 victims killed have been identified. Julia Hyman, an associate with the real estate firm Rudin, Wesley LePatner, a senior managing director with Blackstone, Alanda Tien, a security guard, and NYPD officer Diderul Islam.
He was a good man. He was a good brother. He was a good husband. He was a good son to his parents. He always showed up. Every time anyone needed any help, he was always there.
That was Ashfaqar Rahman, a relative of the officer who was killed.
In a suicide note, the New York gunman blamed a traumatic head injury on the NFL, which has offices in the building he'd driven across the country to target. CBS News chief medical correspondent Jonathan LaPook.
Chronic traumatic encephalopathy is a degenerative brain disease linked to repeated head injuries that can occur in contact sports such as football or soccer. Symptoms may include mood swings, suicidal thoughts, and problems with impulse control. Several professional athletes, such as football players Junior Seau, who died by suicide, and Aaron Hernandez, who killed 2 men and then himself, were later found to have CTE. His note listed several CTE experts, including Boston University's Dr. Ann McKee. We spoke with her in 2022 about the risks of CTE from youth sports.
The professionals have longer years of exposure, but kids who play high school sports, they're at risk for these changes.
Dr. McKee led a 2023 study that found CTE in 14 of 45 football players with suspected brain injury who did not play beyond high school and who died before the age of 30.
In an interview with the Associated Press, Michael Balboni, former Homeland Security advisor for New York State, says it's almost impossible to stop these random acts.
When you have the randomness of this, when you have the access to weapons, and then you have someone who is determined, drove across country, parked right in front of the building, and then walked in. You could say that this guy was not planning on coming out, which is obviously what happened. He took his own life. And so when you have a determined shooter that comes in with a weapon, the chances of stopping that individual, very, very difficult.
728 time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Chris Ranji for Siteman Cancer Center, and you have to know that you are somebody's favorite person, and Your health matters not just to you, but it matters to people who care about you. Getting screened early for any cancer, whether it's colon or breast cancer, prostate cancer, or lung cancer, it is important to do that. Siteman has set up a website called getscreenednow.com. And when you go to it, it's going to help you find a location nearer you. If you live a little farther out from St. Louis and don't want to make the trip into the city, you can get screened closer to home. GetScreenedNow.com, because for me, I'm over 45. It's time for that colonoscopy. Third leading cause of cancer-related deaths in both men and women. And GetScreenedNow.com will help you find a location that is good for you. Doing it early, really, really important. GetScreenedNow.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Soccer fans, St. Louis City SC hosts English Premier League giants, the Aston Villa Football Club. Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
It is 7:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, it's partly sunny and 78 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got slow going time right now. Northbound 55 from Union Road up to the River to Pear. If you're on northbound 270, it's bogged down just north of 55. Pretty much all the way up through Manchester, and then just a little busy at Ladue after that. South 270, Olive down to 64. That's busy. Eastbound 70 coming through Wentzville Parkway, Highway Z, a couple of slow pockets. You get past that, approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard in through Highway K. Again, it's kind of off the pace. Eastbound 64 coming off 70 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard is slow. East of 94 to Research Park, there's some volume, and it's a little busy right now coming through Hanley after that. By the way, eastbound 70 east of the Blanchett into 270, that's also a little crowded. Eastbound 30 west Watson to 270 is generally slow all the way through there. We still have the downtown issue, the train, Route 3 at Monsanto. Northbound Route 3 is backed up to almost Jerome now. Southbound Route 3 is solid jam back at the Poplar Street Bridge, and more volume headed for the Poplar. 5570 west of 203, 64 at Baugh Avenue. It's slow all the way across the bridge over to the Missouri side. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Extreme heat warning in effect until 7 p.m. Hot and humid today, a high of 94. It's going to feel like 105, but we will have a thunderstorm or two this afternoon and evening, and that's going to cool some things off around here. Later tonight, warm and humid still, low 74, and tomorrow some humidity as well, but a high of only 80 tomorrow on a mostly cloudy sky. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sunny, less humid, highs around 80 degrees. Currently, it is 80 in downtown St. Louis at 7:32.
In a KMOX exclusive follow-up, reaching out to lawmakers about people not getting their mail deliveries on time. Last week, we spoke with Illinois Rep. Mike Boss. Today, with Nikki Baczynski.
Congresswoman Baczynski says this issue is so bad, she held a roundtable on it.
To move the United States Postal Service away from its current governance structure, which is as an independent entity, not under any specific agency or department within the federal government.
Baczynski says there are rumors that an executive order may be issued or that the USPS may be moved to the Commerce Department, and she says that should be viewed as privatization. There are 2 distribution centers in Illinois, Champaign and Springfield. Champaign was slated for closure, but that's been removed from the list. But she's continuing to fight to make sure Springfield is not closed. That would mean all of the mail for Central and Southern Illinois would have to be routed through St. Louis, and that spells more delays. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
Starting Thursday, hundreds of people will begin taking part in a huge conference dedicated to one of the world's greatest mysteries.
This is the International Shroud of Turin Conference. When I say international, we have 49 speakers lined up. They're coming from all around the world to speak on the latest findings on the Shroud of Turin.
Conference co-chair Cindy Schultmeyer says the three-day conference will take place at the Augustine Institute on New Halts Ferry Road in North County.
It's a big deal in the shroud world because it's very, very important that the shroud researchers, experts, scientists, authors have a place to convene, a time and a place to convene. And the last International Shroud Conference was held in Canada in 2019.
St. Louis hosted the conference back in 2014. The Shroud of Turin is believed by some to be the actual burial cloth of Jesus Christ. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
It is 7:34. We'll get you your money report from Bloomberg coming up next.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Hey, let's get you caught up on your money report. It's sponsored for you by Busey Bank.
Good morning. American and Chinese trade negotiators are continuing talks in Stockholm. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said a 90-day extension of the current trade truce between Washington and Beijing is likely. But he told Fox News President Trump will make the final decision. The extreme heat across nearly half of the country is raising concerns for some utilities. A pre-emergency action issued by grid operator PJM Interconnection requires power companies serving the Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and Virginia areas to reduce demand, a request that usually means cutting back usage by businesses and by households that enroll in demand response programs. Tariff concerns were partially to blame for a rise in Arabica coffee futures. Traders were also keeping tabs on inclement weather in Brazil, which could have an impact on next year's crop. And Warner Brothers Discovery has renamed its companies after the media giant decided to separate them months ago. Its streaming and studios company will be called Warner Brothers, and its global networks company will be called Discovery Global. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
Baby's gone! Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals. That ball was mashed. And there are more ways to watch this season. Holy cow! Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts. How about that play? Or watch through a TV provider. Incredible! Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. He got it! Learn more at cardinals.com/TV. Ball game! That couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
You know, I tell you about Budweiser all the time. When's the last time you and I went through the ingredients that make Budweiser as great a beer as anything I've ever had? I love Budweiser. Budweiser is the king of beers. Let's learn a little bit about the ingredients, all right? Barley, Budweiser is brewed with only the finest 2-row and 6-row barley malt. It's hand-selected from regional growers all across America. They brew their lager using fresh, verdant rice, milled, polished, grated, and immediately brewed for a crisp taste and a smooth finish. You ever taken a tour of Anheuser-Busch and watched this process? It is amazing. Only the supplest, most aromatic hops are selected to create the distinctive taste of Budweiser. And then, of course, the filtered water tested daily for purity by the brewmasters at Anheuser-Busch. That's Budweiser. Budweiser is the official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball. It's also a 15-year partner with Folds of Honor. It is just a great brand. It's proud St. Louis-born Budweiser. Since 1876, crack open an ice-cold Bud on a hot summer night like tonight. Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you.
Like I said before, tariffs had absolutely zero effect on our equipment pricing. No manufacturer raised their prices. What has affected the pricing is the previous 4 years of these ridiculous mandates. I mean, I say ridiculous, it's shameful. But that being said, if you're told that you need a new system, or your air conditioner is bad, or you're looking to replace your system, if you want a common sense approach which works for you, your family, and your budget. When I say your budget, it never is what you want it to be on this equipment, but common sense approach, 15-20 minutes of your time, and explain to you your options. No Kool-Aid being handed out. I'm Bart Inman. It's Bart with a B, Inman with an I. The easiest way to get a hold of me with the easiest number, Missouri and Illinois, there's only one, 314-293-2600. Remember, 0% financing is available for most up to 60 months. Fantastic deal. God bless.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor David Wassinger, inviting you to a weekend you won't forget, the 37th annual Lake of the Ozarks Shootout. Our shootout is the largest unsanctioned boat race in the country. It's free to attend, packed with family fun, and it's all happening right here in Missouri. Join me and thousands of visitors from across the country for a weekend of racing and Missouri hospitality at its finest. I'll see you at the lake.
Sponsored by the Lieutenant Governor of Missouri.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. It's National Carpet Cleaning Month, and because of Zero Res's commitment to the DGS, you're going to get 3 rooms of carpeting clean plus 1 free plus $50 off your air duct services. 314-474-2020, ZeroResSTL.com.
Today, the Cards, the Marlins. Cameron Total Access 550. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:40 and time to get you updated on traffic and weather. The great news today is it's our last day of blistering heat. We'll get you all the details on what happens next coming up. But first, details on your ride in from Roger Brandt and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's busy out there, Debbie. This traffic reports service of Siding Express. The train cleared Route 3 at Monsanto. It's still backed up, though, from Judith to Monsanto. Southbound, though, the delays are gone. Westbound, 64 from Ball Avenue to the Poplars, heavy in spots. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, there's slow stuff from Wentzville Parkway to 64, east of A through Highway K, and from the Blanchette Bridge into the Rock Road, it's kind of busy. Southbound 61 onto 64 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard is slow. And again, briefly, at the Interbelt, westbound 64 coming through McCausland, Big Bend's a little busier. Southbound 270 is bogged down Page to 64, north 270, 55 through Gravois, Big Bend all the way up to Ladou's, kind of slow. Northbound 55 from Bayless up to River de Pere, that's heavy. Transform your home with the beauty and durability of James Hardy Siding. At Siding Express, we specialize in James Hardy siding installation. Visit sidingexpress.com today to schedule a free consultation. That's sidingexpress.com. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Went to the Muni last night. Dear Evan Hansen, the Muni premiere. What a great musical that is. What an amazing venue the Muni is. It really is something, Joe Lundberg, on a roasting hot night like last night, how they keep the air circulating through there. It was actually quite comfortable. Now, this weekend for that show, people are really going to be happy.
They really
Bring
are.
a light jacket. It'll feel cold.
It might. I mean, there's going to be a distinct change in the weather over the next couple of days. Now, today it's still hot and humid. We're going to be seeing temperatures getting up to 94. There are thunderstorms lined up to our north and west. Those are going to be slowly but surely redeveloping and moving in our direction. But I think we're fine through lunchtime. After that, though, the risk of thunderstorms goes way up. And you get one The risk for severe weather with damaging wind gusts and flooding downpours, again, our high 94. Later tonight, the thunderstorms start to dissipate, maybe a leftover thunderstorm in spots late tonight. Warm and sticky lows in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, a lot cooler, lots of clouds, a shower or two, maybe a thunderstorm, the high 80. Then the humidity goes away for Friday. We pull back some sunshine, the high 81. And the weekend, that's going to be nice. Sunshine, some clouds, low humidity, 82 Saturday, 84 on Sunday. 80 in St. Peter's right now and humid, 81 in Florissant. Partly sunny, 82 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 7:43 and Total Information AM continues. Last night at the St. Louis County Council meeting, some tense moments after we learned Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey is investigating County Executive Sam Page for allegedly using public money to fund a political mailer against Prop B in April.
Page admitted that his phone had been taken by the AG's office and that he has hired attorney Jeff Jensen with his own money.
I will cooperate fully with the investigation, and then I'll also be focused on the good work that we're doing for the county. And as you just heard, there's much work ahead.
But that didn't satisfy a majority of the council members, Chairwoman Ritter Days.
It's not a one-way street. It's two ways. If you want us to communicate with you, you have to communicate with us. Good, bad, or indifferent.
Sam Page left the council meeting early. Councilwoman Shalonda Webb tells KMOX the fact that Page hired an attorney is telling.
But I still have not seen any documentation, and I don't want to speculate. I would like that just like he required a few years back when Stanger was going through his situation, he wanted us to be transparent and put it before the council and put it before the people.
Councilman Mark Harder says he thinks tells us what he thinks the investigation involves.
Towards the end of that campaign, the postcard that went out, which is in question, and I think that has been shared with the Attorney General as well as the Secretary of State.
Councilwoman Webb is giving Page until noon today to produce information on the investigation, but if he doesn't comply...
So we're now just going to have to subpoena.
Let's give this Ollie Marmol comment that he made yesterday on the Gas House Gang some context. So this has been widely circulated at this point. Ollie talking about the future of the organization and some conversations with Chaim Bloom. But let me take it back a little bit to Bernie Miklasz and his question. This is regarding his relationship with John Mozeliak and when they disagree on something, or maybe better put, when Ollie is trying to push something to Mozeliak.
How do you approach Mo and just tell him how you really think? Not that he'll necessarily listen that much, because if he's determined on a particular course of action, what will be will be. But how do you make that appeal to him? If you do.
By playing the game the right way and giving ourselves a shot every day. I mean, I think you have to do it with actions more than words. You just go out there and you prepare your team to take their best shot, man. And I feel like we've done that. We got beat the last two against San Diego. I mean, the road trip wasn't good, and that's on us. But at the end of the day, just going out there and just playing the best game we could possibly play. We've had several conversations as far as how I feel, how he feels, and how to move this thing forward. And the reality is this, man, like when you take a step back and you think about what we're trying to do over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and being able to sit down with Chaim as well and talking through what's possible for this organization moving forward. I don't want to make decisions that feel good in the short term, and then we're stuck in this middle ground for another couple years. I want to be able to, even in my seat as I sit here, I want to make sure that we're not sneaking into the playoffs every year. I want to beat people's ass, and like, you show up to the field. There's a difference between showing up to the field and taking your best shot and showing up to the field knowing you're going to win, and once in a while you may get beat. That's different. I want to get to the point where this club and this organization is back to doing exactly that, which is you show up every day knowing you're going to win, and at times somebody beats you. And in order to do that, we're going to have to make some tough decisions. But it doesn't mean that I'm not showing up today trying to win. I can guarantee that.
That's Ollie Marmol, manager of the Cardinals, 11-time world champion, 19-time National League champion, 15 division titles. Sounds like he wants to get back to that dominance. And with the trade deadline tomorrow at 5 o'clock, you can expect some moves. That's what it sounds like there. It's what it sounded like from John Mozeliak, that they're getting lots of calls about arms. Ryan Helsley, Steven Matz, Phil Maton. Those three relievers have expiring contracts, but especially Helsley. his value continues to go up seemingly by the hour. Emmanuel Clase, he's being investigated for gambling. That is the Guardians closer. He is on leave right now, so he's out of the picture. That raises Helsley's value even higher. And there are at least a half dozen teams right now looking for a closer. The Cardinals are probably best served to hold out as long as they can for the very best deal tomorrow. Now, Helsley, interestingly, told Post-Dispatch beat writer Derek Gould that he would be interested in re-signing with the Cardinals. But are the Cardinals interested in signing a closer to a big long-term contract? That remains to be seen. More likely, they are going to get the best value they can for him. They need starting pitching in the minors like yesterday. So it is of the utmost importance right now. Ins and Outs sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. Cardinals lost 5-0 yesterday to the Marlins. Play them again tonight at 6:45 on KMOX. Innsbrook Resort, what a spot. Oh, my gosh, this weekend with the weather, that is an unbelievable place to be. Innsbrook Resort. Where is it? In Warren County. Not far from you, probably, if you're listening to us in the St. Louis area. 45 minutes from my house in St. Louis County. An hour from downtown St. Louis. I've done it many times, from Innsbrook down to KMOX to do sports on a Sunday morning, back out to Innsbrook. Innsbrook's amazing. 7,500 acres, 100-plus lakes, a world-class resort right here in the St. Louis area. Just an incredible place where you can play golf, boat, fish, hike, spend time with the family, relax, kick back, and enjoy the privacy of Innsbrook. Innsbrook-resort.com, Innsbrook-resort.com.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. Classes start August 13th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shell.
Get ready, St. Louis. 2 acclaimed performers will headline a summer finale on the Muni stage Thursday, August 28th. International music icon Diana Ross and multi-Grammy Award-winning artist John Baptiste. And this is your chance to win a premium VIP experience to see the show. VIP includes a pair of box seats, a pair of VIP pre-party tickets, free drinks at the intermission bar, and a free parking pass. Register now online at KMOX.com/contest for your chance to win.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:50, and here is Roger Brand with the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, northbound 55 drivers are looking at slow traffic as per usual from about Union Road up to River to Pear. Northbound 270 from 55, just busy all the way up to Ladue. South 270 Dorset to Ladue. It's off the pace most of the way into there. Eastbound Highway 70, some slow stuff. Wenswell Parkway into Highway Z, and then Lake St. Louis to K. And one more time from about 5th Street into the Rock Roads. There's lots of traffic moving at off the speed limit pace, but nothing jammed at least. Southbound 61, a little busy at Wenswell Parkway from 70 on 64 into Lake St. Louis Boulevard. You're bogged down. 94 to Research Park. A little backup at Clarkson could be a problem there. And then McKnight into Big Bend, typical slow stuff. Southbound 170 bogs down at Ladue. Westbound 64 Clayton Skinker to Hanley is crowded. Eastbound 30 West Watson to 270. Highway 50, it looks like westbound between Double B and AJ. There's been either 1 or 2 crashes there. It's heavy but not jammed. Downtown westbound 64 Ball Avenue to the Poplar is slow, and northbound Route 3 still has a backup from about Queenie up through Monsanto. We had an earlier, I believe, train crossing there. Next update at 7:58 for the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg reminding us we are still in an extreme heat warning until 7 p.m. today, and then times of sun and clouds, hot and humid, thunderstorm or 2 this afternoon and evening. High 94. Now, those thunderstorms are going to cool things off. Later tonight, cloudy, warm, humid, low 74. But tomorrow, the high is only 80. Still humid. Friday, pleasant and less humid with sunshine and a few clouds. High 81. 82 for Saturday. 84 for Sunday. Just a beautiful weekend with nice weather and a lot cooler. 81 right now in Florissant. 80 in St. Peters. It's 80 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52, and the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. A local police department is hiring an investigator who doesn't get a badge.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Department is opening a new crime lab later this year, giving the department a chance to have a civilian crime scene technician.
It's a civilian crime fighter position.
Under Sheriff Lieutenant Colonel Tim Whitney.
We already have 3 full-time crime scene investigators on staff right now, and they're commissioned police officers. And their primary job is to collect and analyze evidence.
The civilian crime scene tech will work the same cases as those with a badge, like homicides to child abuse cases. Whitney says the department is following a national trend to hire civilians to fill in the gaps.
Locally, St. Charles County started with it. St. Louis County's adopted it, and we are as well.
Jefferson County Sheriff's Department received an eye-popping 180 applicants for the civilian crime scene technician position, with some promising candidates.
Many of which had degrees in chemistry, biology, and forensics. And they're very interested in, again, helping get these important cases across the finish line.
Salary is between $55,000 to $84,000. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
And next hour, KMOX goes in depth on that story. For the 3rd year in a row, St. Louisans say gun violence is the region's leading health concern.
The proportion of people who say it's the most important health problem has dropped from 70% to 63%, now to 44% this year.
Matthew Kreuter, founder of I Heard St. Louis and professor of public health at WashU, tells KMOX there is an increased concern about mental health, drug abuse, and overdose.
Step to it. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. A new study finds taking 7,000 steps a day goes a long way in lowering America's growing risk of dementia. Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel.
It's going up largely because of how sedentary people are and that they don't interact enough and that they don't eat proper diets. And then there are genetic predispositions. But that's why this study on 7,000 steps out of Lancet Public Health, that's out of Sydney, Australia, looking at 57 other studies, is so dramatic that if you have a genetic predisposition towards dementia, especially, and you exercise regularly with walking, that you can decrease that risk by 20 or 30%. Now, we're not talking about strolling here. We're talking about real brisk walking, heel to toe. Do it in the morning, especially if it's 100 degrees, because we don't want other health issues. Do the walking in the morning. That's about 3.5 miles a day, which is much more in reach for some people than 10,000 steps was, which was more arbitrary. Thus, 7,000 steps is associated with 47% less death over a 10-year period, less heart disease, less depression, and as you said, less dementia.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-885-9700. 800-885-9700. That's 800-885-9700.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial, retiresafestl.com. Have you ever wondered what it's like to work with a financial advisor? Are you in your 50s or early 60s and really haven't talked to anybody about how you retire? Give me a call today. Check out our website, retiresafestl.com.
Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, northbound 55 drivers still looking at a bit of a backup from Bayless to Weber. Then it's slow up to about Loughborough. Then it's in better shape at that point. Northbound 270 north of Tesson Ferry all the way to Ladue, just off the pace the whole way through. Same thing, south 270 approaching 364 down to Ladue. It's pretty busy. Eastbound 70 looks good out west. So a little busy at Wentzville Parkway, but the primary delay, 5th Street into about the Rock Road, is pretty heavy through there. Southbound 61 crossing over onto 64 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard's bogged down. Clarkson toward Timberlake, and then approaching McKnight into Big Bend. Westbound 64 Science Center to Hanley's heavy. South 170 bogging down at the Parkway. Downtown, we still have a backup on northbound Route 3. Queenie up through Montana. It really goes all the way up to the Poplar Street Bridge, and westbound 64 slow from Baugh Avenue all the way to the bridge as well. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Already 80 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Tom Ackerman. These are the stories making news. We'll get the latest on tsunami waves reaching Japan, Hawaii, and California.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. The United States has lost 75% of its local journalists. We'll tell you why one group is concerned.
What you tell ChatGPT could be used against you in court. Find out why from KMOX legal analyst Brad Young.
Boeing's CEO appears to wave off the threat of a St. Louis strike. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Times of sun and clouds, hot and humid today with a gusty thunderstorm or two this afternoon to this evening. Our high 94.
Megan Lynch is next, then Chris and Amy from 9 to noon. Gas House Gang at noon. We'll be joined by Hall of Famer Joe Torre.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
We gave the all clear sign.
Tsunami warnings lifted for Hawaii, California, Japan, and Russia after a massive 8.8 earthquake in Russia's Far East last night. Hawaii County Mayor Kimo Alameda.
We deployed out our police, fire, and our public works to make sure that those areas that were reported flooding, that there were no debris, and that residents could go back to their homes.
Correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti is in Malibu.
Fortunately, the worst of the waves never materialized. Here in Southern California, about half a foot. In Hawaii, just under 6 feet. The island there using their tsunami warnings for the first time, sounding those sirens in more than a decade.
The U.S. economy is growing again. The Commerce Department says the gross domestic product rose 3% in the second quarter after contracting in the first. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Overall, this report shows that for the first half of the year, the economy is in good shape. That means that when the Federal Reserve concludes its meeting later today, they're more than likely to take no action.
Analysts say the GDP numbers are still skewed because of President Trump's tariffs, and he announced on Truth Social this morning he will not budge on his Friday deadline for dozens of countries that haven't made deals. One big company is already planning accordingly. CBS's Michael Wallace.
Procter & Gamble, the maker of Tide, Crest, and Charmin, warns it will raise prices on about a quarter of its products starting next month. The consumer products giant says the tariffs will increase its costs by about $1 billion in its next fiscal year. In recent months, P&G has been trying to avoid the tariffs by finding other sources for its raw materials and changing some of its product formulas.
President Trump has explained why he broke off his friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein years ago. CBS's Scott McFarland.
Among those who Trump says was poached or stolen from Mar-a-Lago was one of Epstein's most outspoken victims, Virginia Giuffre.
I think she worked at the spa. I think so.
I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her.
According to her family, Gouffre died by suicide earlier this year.
Thousands of Ozzy Osbourne fans lined the streets of his hometown of Birmingham, England. They chanted and cheered as the Black Sabbath frontman's hearse carried his casket down Broad Street.
I'm glad to be here today with people who are like-minded, who adored him and adore the family, and we want to show our support today for him and his family.
Ozzy's wife Sharon, his daughter Kelly, and other family members followed in cars behind his. They'll attend a private funeral shortly. Osbourne died last week. He was 76. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 83 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Wednesday, July 30th. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch. A major turnaround for Boeing's St. Louis Defense Division. The unit swung from a huge loss last year to a profit this quarter. But in the middle of that good news, there's the threat of a strike.
That turnaround is being driven by major military contracts. Boeing is building more T-78 trainer jets for the Air Force and just started testing the Navy's new MQ-25 refueling drone, all of which helped to boost revenue by 10%. But the talk on the investor call was about the 3,200 local machinists who rejected a contract on Sunday that started the clock on a strike. While CEO Kelly Ortberg called the potential work stoppage manageable, the union has been quiet since the vote. That means with no new talks scheduled, those workers could be on the picket line next Monday. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page briefly addressed the state investigation against him during last night's county council meeting. The Attorney General's office is looking into Page's involvement with a campaign mailer against Prop B, allegedly paid with public funds.
Dr. Page denies any wrongdoing. He says his phone was confiscated and he has hired attorney Jeff Jensen using his own personal funds.
I can't imagine that anyone has done anything wrong. I will cooperate fully with the investigation.
But the council is concerned they had no knowledge into Dr. Page's phone being taken or exactly what AG Bailey is looking for. But for Council Chairwoman Rita Hurd Days, she says good, bad, or indifferent, if we know what's happening, we can deal with it.
I'm disappointed that he had to leave early, but I'm hoping that we can understand what communication really means.
Councilwoman Shalonda Webb.
To me, just reading the tea leaves, that means something is there. You don't go and get a private attorney, as people would say, lawyer up, if there's nothing to lawyer up for.
The majority of the county council maintains that the Page administration used taxpayer money for a partisan campaign against Prop B.
We saw money from his PAC, which is called Page PAC, that were being sent to different groups to be used to advertise and to buy postcards.
Webb gave Dr. Page until noon today to turn over all information about the investigation to the council. If that does not happen, Webb tells KMOX, then they will subpoena the information. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Both lawsuits challenging the state takeover of the St. Louis Police Department will be heard later this year in Cole County Court. Judge Daniel Green will preside over the challenge from Board of Alderman President Megan Green and the challenge filed by two citizens represented by Arch City Defenders. The trial scheduled to begin November 5th. The state board appointed by the governor met for the first time earlier this month. Next month's installation of metal detectors at the metro station next to Enterprise Center is on hold.
In a statement from Comptroller Donna Behringer, she says there were issues with lack of protocol at the Gateway Transportation Center in downtown that prompted her to pause the metal detector deployment. Behringer says Amtrak did not have plans for what to do when weapons were discovered by the metal detectors or how to return them to riders when they exit at other stops. The station has had its share of gun violence in recent years, including in 2022 when a 17-year-old was shot and killed. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The security director for St. Louis Public Schools has resigned just 3 weeks before the first day. Terrell Baker was with the district for 8 months. According to his LinkedIn, Baker has taken a job in emergency operations with the Missouri School Boards Association. His resignation comes as the district also deals with staff and students from 7 schools relocating because of tornado damage to their buildings and a new transportation vendor taking over. Starting Thursday, hundreds of people will begin taking part in a huge conference dedicated to one of the world's greatest mysteries. KMOX religion editor Fred Bottomer reports.
This is the International Shroud of Turin Conference. When I say international, we have 49 speakers lined up. They're coming from all around the world to speak on the latest findings on the Shroud of Turin.
Conference co-chair Cindy Schultmeyer says the three-day conference will take place at the Augustine Institute on New Haltz Ferry Road in North County.
It's a big deal in the shroud world, because it's very, very important that the shroud researchers, experts, scientists, authors have a place to convene, a time and a place to convene. And the last International Shroud Conference was held in Canada in 2019.
St. Louis hosted the conference back in 2014. The Shroud of Turin is believed by some to be the actual burial cloth of Jesus Christ. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
After beating the Marlins on Monday, the Cards were shut out last night, 5-0. The rubber match tonight. First pitch, 6:45. You can hear it here on 104.1 FM, KMOX. You can hear about traffic and weather coming up in 2 minutes here. It's 8:08.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10 and time to head to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brand, how's it look out there?
Well, just slow going for the most part, Megan. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, you've still got some heavy traffic. We'll call it east of the Blanchette Bridge now into about the Rock Road. Eastbound 64, eastbound 70, by the way, east of Wright City into Forestella also looks a little busy at this time. Eastbound 64, just a little slow at Prospect, a brief backup at Clarkson, and then McKnight through Hanley's pretty heavy. Westbound 64, Science Center to Hanley slow. South 170 bogs down, closer to Brentwood Boulevard, I think now. Southbound 270, Page to Olive, and then it is opening up. North 270, the bulk of the volume, it's slow through 44, but really north of Big Bend up to Ladue, the busiest part of North 270. Northbound 55, Bayless up to River to Pears, still heavy downtown. Westbound 64 from the 70 split to the Poplar, slow. Westbound 70, you've got delays. Looks like we may have some trouble there just west of Adelaide. Delays at Salisbury on westbound 70 up to that location. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
An extreme heat warning until 7 this evening. Partly sunny, hot and humid today with a high of 94 and AccuWeather real field temperatures up to 105. But there'll also be a thunderstorm or two this afternoon and this evening. Any thunderstorm can produce damaging wind gusts and flooding downpours. Later tonight, mostly cloudy, warm and humid with a spotty thunderstorm, low 74. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and much cooler, but still rather humid with a shower or two, even a thunderstorm in the area, high 80. A nice day Friday with more sun than clouds and much lower humidity, high 81. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. And checking the temperatures right now, we are already in the 80s this morning. Sunny skies, 83 degrees in Florissant, 82 in St. Peters, and 83 degrees in downtown St. Louis. You're listening to Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. A new study contends there is a severe shortage of local news across the country. The organization Rebuild Local News and Muckrack saw a more than 75% drop in the number of local journalists since 2002. So how does that impact your life and the information that you get about your community? I asked Steve Waldman, founder and president of Rebuild Local News, who calls it a crisis.
On one level, it means that you and your family are less likely to get information you need about all sorts of things, like how is your school doing in terms of quality compared to other schools, or basic information about who to vote for, especially in local elections. National, you'll get plenty, but not in local elections often. And things like that. We also know that in areas where there's less local news, there's more corruption, higher municipal borrowing costs, and higher taxes. So it affects like the city services or town services that you get. And then the last part, which is a little more indirect, but still really important, is that there's all sorts of evidence now that when there's a vacuum created by the contraction of local news, it's filled by social media and by national news. So it's more polarizing, more division, and more misinformation as well. So all those things that we don't like are connected to this local news crisis.
Yeah, I remember the days of covering small city councils, and it's just not feasible for newsrooms to do that anymore.
And just imagine what we're losing from that. I mean, you know, there was a case in California that kind of became famous in Bell, California, where the city council voted to pay the city manager $800,000 a year salary. And the thing that was amazing about it is it wasn't done like illegally. It wasn't like with brown paper bags or complicated real estate deals. They just voted for it, but there was no one covering it, so they could get away with it. So, in some ways we don't know what we're missing, but we can be pretty sure it's not good.
Why are we losing so many journalists?
The short answer is that the internet broke the business model for local news. Basically, the advertisers that were supporting local news are now advertising online in other places and other ways. There's other aspects to it of, readers also being able to get information from all sorts of places. So the reader of a local newspaper, say, the local newspaper always had a mix of things. It had sports and, help wanted ads and national news. Well, a local reader can get most of that stuff now for free elsewhere. So we're down to trying to convince readers that the local news is still really, really valuable. The last thing I would point to also is that there's been this tremendous consolidation in the news industry, and more than half of the daily news circulation in America now is owned by a hedge fund or a private equity firm. And the ownership, when that happens, when it gets owned by a financial firm, we've seen over and over again that they are much more likely to cut reporting staff than if it's a family-owned newsroom or a nonprofit or a public radio station.
Steve, I think part of the issue too is that we've lost a lot of trust, I think. Is part of boosting journalism financially rebuilding that trust?
I do think that rebuilding the trust is going to be critical for rebuilding the business models and getting this back. I don't know that the decline in trust was the cause of this. I really think that really was the internet. But it creates this horrible vicious cycle because you end up with local news contracts. First of all, local news is the most trusted of the news sources. So that's going down, being replaced by social media and national media, which is less trusted. So that's as a starting point. But then the local news that does exist gets more superficial because there's, one reporter for every four there used to be. And just the nature of it is going to be that the stories are, going to have less reporting to them. And people are going to be less likely to actually encounter a reporter. Part of what builds up trust is not just the stories, if they're done well and are transparent, but also people in the community actually coming across journalists, whether it's seeing the person cover the school board meeting or, running into them somewhere else where they can actually ask questions. That's the other part of building up trust. And you just can't do that when there aren't very many reporters.
It's really interesting you say that because since the pandemic, so many meetings have gone online and so many newsrooms are so short-staffed that reporters and newsrooms rely a lot on capturing those meetings still online instead of going in person.
That's a great point. And that's going to get worse with AI. There's going to be more and more things that you can do that way. But it also creates an opportunity because I do think that AI is going to kind of exacerbate the trust problem. It's going to get harder and harder for people to know what to trust. And maybe in that environment, interacting with actual human being reporters will have a lot of value. Now, that's great if you have it, but that points back to the first problem that we were talking about, which is we don't have nearly enough local reporters in the country.
You've mentioned a couple potential solutions. Anything else that you're working on or you want our listeners to know about your efforts?
Well, Rebuild Local, there's lots of interesting things going on. There's great new programs in the nonprofit sector, things like Report for America, which I used to be involved with. There's interesting new business models. There's more philanthropy getting into it. Rebuild Local News is a coalition of all these different news groups that are looking at public policy, whether or not there are steps that the government can take. Now, that has risks to it, right? You don't want the government be, giving out money to news organizations because the prospect for manipulation and loss of editorial independence is really very significant. But there are actually ways of doing this. So, for instance, Kansas is currently considering a bill that would provide subsidies through a tax cut to small businesses that advertise in local news. So it's kind of an interesting bank shot. It's actually restaurants and dry cleaners and hardware stores that will make the decisions about where they want to put their advertising. They're putting their own money in also. So it's not the government, but it does help the local news also because they're getting more advertising dollars. So that's kind of a neat example of how you can do this in a way that is First Amendment friendly. And in that case, it's also helping small businesses who, many of which have never really recovered from COVID in terms of getting their customers in the door.
That's Steve Waldman with Rebuild Local News. He points out that in 2002, the state of Missouri had 40 local journalists for every 100,000 residents. Now that's dropped to less than 10. There are even fewer when you look at the St. Louis metro area. Coming up next on Total Information AM, ever wanted to work in a crime lab? Jefferson County is hiring. Stuart McMillan will tell us more coming up. First, though, traffic and weather, starting with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, I'm looking at the trouble we had downtown. This traffic reports a service of Metro Transit. I mentioned there was an incident westbound 70 west of Adelaide. It's a crash. It was mostly on the left shoulder, but EMS showed up now, so it looks like the two left lanes are blocked, only the right lane open. Again, it's westbound 70, just west Adelaide. Traffic's jammed back through Branch Street on westbound 70 right now because of it. Eastbound Highway 70, you're still kind of busy from the Blanchette Bridge into the Rock Road. Eastbound 64, a little slow to 94 to Research Park, a little busy at Clarkson, McKnight through Hanley. Westbound 64, McCausland to Hanley is heavy. Southbound 270, bogged down. Olive to Ladue, North 270, 44 to Ladue. Just a lot of, again, slow-moving traffic. Northbound 55, Bayless up to River to Pears, slow. And westbound 64, 3rd Street onto the Poplar. That's kind of heavy. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it looks like it's going to be more of the same, a mix of sun and clouds, hot and humid. A thunderstorm or two possible this afternoon and evening. Those could produce some damaging winds and flooding downpours. We're expecting a high of 94, but it's going to feel like it's 105. Right now, we have sunny skies, 83 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
Get a Metro Transit $5 day pass from Metro St. Louis and go anywhere Metro goes, no matter how far or how long, all day long. Super chill, clean, safe, and reliable, not to mention AC and free Wi-Fi. Go to metrostl.org to get your pass today.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank and Building Community. We are proud to recognize Doorways as a building community partner. Doorways helps those who are invisible and ignored by society, people navigating poverty, homelessness, and serious illnesses like HIV. While HIV has become treatable, the number of cases continues to rise in the disenfranchised community. Building community means nobody should be invisible. Learn more about Doorways at doorwayshousing.org.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President of Busey Bank. I'm so proud to recognize Doorways, the only agency in the region dedicated to providing housing to individuals living with HIV and their family members. Doorways sees to it that clients receive on-site services to manage their lives, opening doorways to independence and opportunity. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort, offering small ship experiences with a shore excursion included in every port and programs designed for cultural enrichment. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. Want to work in a crime lab? The Jefferson County Sheriff's Department is wading through more than 100 applications for a new lab opening later this year. Under Sheriff Lieutenant Colonel Tim Whitney tells our Stuart McMillan the department is hiring a civilian crime scene technician.
Civilian crime scene tech is, it's a civilian crime fighter position. We already have 3 full-time crime scene investigators on staff right now, and they're commissioned police officers. And their primary job is to collect and analyze evidence and crime scene documentation. So it's kind of what you see on TV with the CSI stuff. All this position is doing is, instead of hiring a police officer for the position, we're hiring a non-commissioned police officer for it. And it's really a national trend that you're seeing across the country. Locally, St. Charles County started with it. St. Louis County's adopted it, and we are as well.
So talk about the pros and cons of having someone on staff that doesn't have a badge when it comes to maybe things in court. Can things hold up in court? Okay, because a civilian is working on the team or something to that nature.
Yeah, the training's still going to be the same in terms of their preparation, their education, and that the certification component to it. So that'll be the same. So we don't see any obstacles to that holding up in court. The only real difference is a commissioned police officer has the ability to make an arrest. This position does not have arrest powers. But for us, what it's really doing is it's allowing us to tap into a large community of people that we've found that really want to help their community. They want to protect their community. They want to see cases come to fruition in their community, but they don't necessarily want to be police officers. So this is a natural fit for that. We posted this position, and within 3 days, we had over 180 applications. many of which had degrees in chemistry, biology, and forensics. And they're very interested in, again, helping get these important cases across the finish line, but don't necessarily want to be police officers.
So what kind of cases would they be working?
Our crime scene people primarily handle cases in crimes against persons. So your assaults, whether sexual or just a physical assault, all the way up to homicide. And then in some instances, cases like your burglaries, robberies, any place where there's a scene where we need advanced crime scene processing.
Of those applicants that you've received so far, is that a lot for a position that would be open at the department, or is that just kind of normal?
No, this highlights why we're so excited about this program. Fewer people are willing to be police officers today. So not only here in the St. Louis region, not only in Jefferson County, but across the United States, you're seeing fewer and fewer people applying for police jobs. So it's not uncommon for departments across the country to have vacancies without applications. In this instance, we have one position, over 180 applications, which really highlights that there are people, again, who want to be crime fighters but don't necessarily want to be the police. So this certainly broadens our ability to tap into that.
That's Lieutenant Colonel Tim Whitney with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department talking with our Stuart McMillan. Coming up next, we'll get the latest on tsunami waves reaching Japan, Hawaii, and California. It's 8:28. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
With the heat we have here in St. Louis, just a note, most air conditioners aren't set or able to handle 100 degrees without running constantly. So before you freak out and think your air conditioner is bad, here's a few tips. If you don't have ceiling fans in your bedrooms, you can get pedestal fans and put them in your room. Keep those running all the time. On a second-story house, put one pedestal fan on top of your steps and blow it into the foyer area up high so it's cooling the heat as it's coming up and circulating the air. If you have an attic fan, simple, quick fix, plastic bag, cut it up, and duct tape, because what's happening is it's sucking in all your attic air and the heat and humidity from the outside. Try those things before you call anybody or you call me. But if you did that, please call me, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. Remember, 0% financing is available for most up to 60 months. God bless.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Out here in the middle of these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on earth. That's how it feels when you're struggling with your mental health. But you don't have to feel alone. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
8:30. Let's check the roads now with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have our trouble downtown. This traffic report's a service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. So if you're heading west on Highway 70, they still have those two left lanes shut down for this injury crash just west of Adelaide. Traffic's jammed basically back to the Mutual Veterans Bridge on westbound Highway 70. Fortunately, eastbound 70 really not bothering anybody there. While we're downtown, we'll still tell you westbound 64 slow approaching Route 3 onto the Poplar. Eastbound 70 is just a little busy. 270 to the Rock Road. That's not bad. 64 Clarkson to about Timberlake, and then right at the Interbelt, a couple of slow spots. South 170, south of Delmar to 64. Not that bad. Westbound 64 Clayton Skinker to Big Bend's crowded. South 270 bogs down. Olive to 64, North 270, Doherty Ferry up to Ladue busy, and 55 north of River to Pear up through Holly Hills is where you've got some heavy traffic now. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking the forecast for today. We're looking at an extreme heat warning until 7 o'clock tonight. A mix of sun and clouds, hot and humid. A thunderstorm or two this afternoon and evening could produce damaging winds, flooding downpours, a high of 94. We could have real field temperatures near 105. Later tonight, mostly cloudy, warm and humid. A thunderstorm in spots late with an overnight low of 74. Right now, we have sunny skies, 83 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Hi, I'm Andrew Suntrup. For over 30 years, St. Louis families have trusted Suntrup Ford Westport and Suntrup Ford Kirkwood as a proud, family-owned and operated dealership. We offer more than just great deals. We offer peace of mind. At Suntrup Ford, you'll find a huge selection of inventory to choose from, unmatched customer service, and our exclusive lifetime powertrain protection program. Visit in store or online at suntrupford.com. Save more at Suntrup Ford. Visit suntrupford.com.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. Japan has downgraded the last remaining tsunami alert, but there are still a lot of advisories in place along the Pacific, including some parts of the United States. That's due to an 8.8 magnitude earthquake that struck off the coast of Russia. Let's go now to AccuWeather's Dan Panowski to get the latest on what's happening out there. Dan, thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, sure thing, Megan. That's exactly right. We still have a tsunami advisories in effect for the entire Hawaiian island chain and most of the west coast of the United States. A small area in Northern California near Crescent City actually still under a tsunami warning. The waves tend to be a little higher there because of the shape of the coastline. The good news is it looks like the worst of the wave action, especially for the Hawaiian Islands, has passed as the wave heights there are starting to subside and diminish.
What are we seeing along the coast of California at this point?
It looks like up and down the coast of California, most of the waves that have been reported have been 1 to 2 feet high. So while that could cause some very minor flooding, that's certainly not anything that would be too destructive. In Northern California around Crescent City, there was a report of about 3.5 to 4 feet. So a little higher there. Again, the shape of the coastline there, like the name of the city, is literally a crescent. So the water gets shoved in there and funneled in there. And then farther north up the west coast, Oregon and Washington, most of those places a 1 to 2 foot water rise. So certainly a little minor flooding, but the good news is it seems like the west coast of the United States certainly has dodged something that could have been, of course, much, much worse.
Dan, one of the things that we hear about are people, instead of getting away from the coast, they're actually going to try to see what's happening. What is the risk of that?
Yeah, that's certainly while I understand while people are curious and want to see what's going on, that is certainly not the thing to do. These tsunamis can be tough to predict how high the waves will be, and the water can often come up very quickly. So certainly if you're told to evacuate or you're told to get away from the immediate beaches or the immediate coastline and seek higher ground and head inland, you need to do so because the water can come up so quick. This isn't something that's slow moving that you would have time to react to if you're down on the beach trying to watch for it out of curiosity's sake. The wave would come up so quick that you would not have time to evacuate in that case.
Dan, one last quick question for you. How is this impacting shipping on the Pacific right now?
Well, across the open waters of the Pacific, there's actually not much of a wave rise. What happens is as the wave gets closer to the coast, that's when you actually see the water start to come up as the wave energy runs into the shallower waters in the continental shelf of the coastline. So if you're out in the middle of the ocean, the middle of the central Pacific, you may not actually really notice much. It's when you get closer to the coast that you notice the water rise and the wave energy. So over the open waters, there might not be much of an impact on shipping on over the central Pacific.
Dan, we really appreciate you taking time with us this morning.
Of course.
That is AccuWeather meteorologist Dan Panowski joining us this morning on KMOX. Coming up, it's decision day for the Federal Reserve. Your money report from Bloomberg is next.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-388-6607, 800-388-6607, 800-388-6607.
8:37, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Kimberly Adams.
Good morning. It's decision day for the Federal Reserve. Economists say it's a safe bet that interest rates will be left unchanged. Investors are hoping Chair Jerome Powell will offer a hint about a possible rate cut in September, but Fed watchers say he may want to keep his options open. A lot of economic data will be out before the next policy meeting. Starbucks' quarterly sales and profit were weaker than expected. The coffee chain has been working on a turnaround plan under CEO Brian Niccol. He's betting shorter wait times, remodeled stores, and a revamped menu will bring customers back. Niccol is also promising a wave of new innovation next year. Meta Platforms is continuing to raid Apple as it makes a push into artificial intelligence. A fourth AI researcher has left the iPhone maker. Sources say Bowen Zhang will join Meta's recently formed superintelligence team. On Wall Street, the day of trading ends in the red. The major averages had losses ranging from 0.3% to 0.5%. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
That baby's gone! Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals. That ball was mashed. And there are more ways to watch this season. Holy cow! Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts. How about that play? Or watch through a TV provider. Incredible! Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. He got it! Learn more at cardinals.com/TV. Ball game! That couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. Celebrate National Carpet Cleaning Month with Zero Res and purchase 3 rooms of carpet cleaned. Get 1 free room plus $50 off your air duct services. You can book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the savings. So they were just out at my house about a month ago, and they've been out half a dozen times over the years. But I'm always impressed. They are punctual. They are professional. They are compassionate. They are courteous. They work their tails off, and they just flat out get your carpets, your upholstery, your air ducts as clean as the day they brought them in. It's St. Louis. It's the dog days of summer. Those carpets are going to be getting gamey. Maybe you dropped some toasted ravioli in there, some barbecue, whatever it is you put into them, we can get that back out. 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com. Spell it forward, spell it backwards. It's always the same, Zero Res.
Calling all soccer fans, the Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at STLCitySC.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's STLCitySC.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com. For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
Let's get the latest on the roads. We head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Here's Roger Brand.
Well, we still have our trouble spot downtown, Megan. This traffic report's a service of Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical. Still have this crash westbound 70 just west of Adelaide. Only the right lane is open. Westbound 70 is a solid jam back at the Muswell Veterans Bridge. Westbound 64, still kind of slow. Route 3 to the Poplar. Not much to worry about. On the Missouri side, Hampton to Big Bend, still busy. Westbound 64, eastbound 64, just a brief slowdown at Clarkson and McKnight through to about Big Bend's off the pace. South 270 approaching Olive to Ladue. North 270 approaching Manchester to Ladue, still busy. Eastbound 70, Wentzville Parkway into Highway Z is a little slow, but it's thinned out coming in through the Rock Road. Northbound 55 has thinned out headed into downtown as well. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, JerryKelly.com.
We are still under an extreme heat warning today, a mix of sun and clouds, hot and humid with thunderstorms possible this afternoon and this evening. Expect a high of 94. Real field temperatures will be closer to 105. Right now, sunny, 83 downtown at the Arch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch, and this week KMOX is looking at how to get the most out of AI chatbots like ChatGPT. But now there's a warning about what input you give them. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris Dow Fisher & Young, joining us this morning on KMOX. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Megan.
So Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, the company that brought us ChatGPT, has issued a warning about what we tell the chatbot. What is he warning us about?
Well, the warning is essentially a warning about our privacy. And let me break this down for you. Back in May, and you will recall that there was a lawsuit filed by the New York Times and others against ChatGPT for essentially copyright infringement, because the modules, the learning modules that are built into ChatGPT, has to read and consume enormous amounts of data in order to learn how to read, speak, and reason. So the court ordered back in May that ChatGPT has to save and archive every chat question, every chat response, and even undelete some of the prior deleted chat discussions in order to preserve evidence that might be used against ChatGPT in the lawsuit. So even though ChatGPT would previously allow users to delete their queries, delete the answers, even if they do that now, ChatGPT is required to hold that information, to archive it for purposes of this lawsuit.
A lot of people are saying, well, maybe this should be granted the same legal privileges as talking with doctors, lawyers, and therapists. The problem is this isn't human.
That's true. And you want to talk about a legal system that is simply non-responsive or unable to respond to technology. That really hits the nail on the head, Megan, because the courts have, for hundreds of years, recognized privileges like doctor-patient, attorney-client privilege, even priest-penitent or pastor-congregant privileges. So things that are said in those relationships are private. They are concealed from discovery and litigation. And Sam Altman is stating that we should have the same with AI. Now, that would be an enormous leap to get there. We may get there someday, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Well, let's talk about some stuff that's been said publicly, and that is by right-wing influencer and podcaster Candace Owens. French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife have now filed a defamation lawsuit against her. She has doubled down on claims that France's First Lady is actually a man. What's happening in this case?
Well, in her podcast, Candace Owens is stating that the First Lady of France, Macron's wife, was actually born male, a biologically born male, and then transitioned to become a female. And this is really a very good example here, Megan, of how the courts work when it comes to libel and slander. This lawsuit was filed in the United States, so U.S. law applies. And in this, since Macron's wife is a public figure, then under New York Times versus Sullivan, going back to 1964, the plaintiff has to show, in order to get a libel judgment against Candace Owens, has to show that the statements were, number one, they were false, and number two, that they were made with actual malice to harm the individual. And so that's a pretty high standard. In fact, that's a very high standard, higher than the standards required in Europe. But to prove that, obviously, Macron's going to have to demonstrate that his wife was born female, to show that it was demonstrably false, and that it was done simply with actual malice to harm the Macron family. And I think Candace Owens, unlike so many lawsuits against public figures, I think she does have some potential for liability here.
I'm going to think, too, I mean, does the court take into effect the fact that she can make money off of these claims? Does that go anywhere in a defamation suit?
It does. And where that profit motive goes is to damages. So if because damages against Macron's wife would be very difficult to ascertain, what's been her damage to the public figure. That's very specious at best, but it is quantifiable to show that Candace Owens is making money off of this, off of her podcast. She earns money off of saying what some may think is outrageous things. And so that would actually go to the amount of damages that a jury could award, including punitive damages if the Macrons are successful.
That is KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris, Dow, Fisher & Young. Thank you, Brad.
My pleasure.
And we talk to Brad every week at this time here on Total Information AM.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. A question I get all the time is, how did we become the largest injury firm in the world? We have over 1,000 lawyers in all 50 states and close to 6,000 coworkers. Our call center is on duty 24/7. You can reach us at any time at forthepeople.com. But the real reason is we won a lot. When you visit our website, go to our verdicts and settlements. There you will see what our clients were offered and what they were awarded at trial. All those verdicts help us resolve many cases fairly and early. You see, nothing beats reputation. The insurance industry knows who we are. We even have insurance adjusters call us for representation because they know too. We've made it easy. On your mobile device or computer, go to forthepeople.com and we will get busy. It's that easy. Call today. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
The KMOX City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. It's the Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill on Lindbergh, Thursday, August 7th. A limited number of fans can get an autograph or a picture with City SC defensive midfielder Jake Gerwood-Reich. Register to win great prizes, enjoy great food and a cold drink. Hot Shots on Lindbergh, the place to be, Thursday, August 7th from 6 till 8 p.m. for the City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch, and this week on the show, we've been talking about how to write the best prompts for AI chatbots. Today, we're going to run down some of the best and most popular AI tools. This is Eric Ritter, President and CEO of Digital Neighbor.
I think I'm going to give the standard answer everybody does at first, which is ChatGPT from OpenAI, right? And the reason for that, it's a great first one to try out just as an absolute novice beginner, just to have a little conversation, and then you can level up, right? Help me write an email, help me rewrite this, all the way to using custom instructions, custom GBTs to have it do workflows for you. And it just also continues to expand its capabilities. And for me personally, I like to look kind of who's behind it. And I really like OpenAI and kind of the company behind ChatGPT. So that's the number one that I would recommend for anyone to use.
Beyond that, what else have you found to be valuable and maybe a time saver?
Yeah. So a couple other tools. So I give a lot of presentations, so I'm older. I started, in PowerPoint, then Keynote, Google Slides and everything. And there's a new one. It's called Gamma.app. And Gamma.app actually turns your prompt into a fully fledged presentation. So what I mean by that is I can say, hey, give me a 5-slide presentation on the best AI tools, list them out, give me images, give me graphs. And based on that prompt, it's going to create that presentation for you. Is it going to be perfect? No, but it's going to be great clay for you to mold. And it's a huge time saver, especially for someone like me that is constantly giving presentations, to kind of have that starting point instead of having to create something from scratch. Another one maybe is Grammarly. I always recommend Grammarly. I'm an adjunct professor here at the local university, and I tell my students there's no excuse to make any grammatical or spelling mistakes on any papers that you turn in, because there's fantastic tools out there like Grammarly. And it's actually adding on some AI writing assistance where it actually helps you rephrase the paragraph and might say, hey, this paragraph doesn't make sense. That last sentence should actually be at the beginning. And so it's a very specialized AI tool that helps with writing.
I noticed you use the term clay. Is that how you recommend people view these, as kind of the starting point instead of the end point, maybe?
Yeah, no, that's a great follow-up there. So it's a tool, like I said. I still think the human needs to be the beginning and the end of this. The AI is kind of the middle in there that a lot of times can save the time for you and kind of give you ideas. It's like a junior copywriter, right? Like, hey, I have this great idea. Give me 5 different headlines. Okay, that one's good. Let me finalize it and finish it off. So it definitely is something that gives you it gives you a lot of that clay, like I like to say, that you can then as the human mold into something.
Are there any tools that you've tried and you've thought, okay, these are not worth it, or just because of the way they're set up, they would be a risk in some way?
Yeah, so I want to kind of hook into the risk part, right? So the kind of the privacy risks, the bias, and the fairness part, and I think that goes into any of the tools, that the listeners might know about, whether it's ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Copilot, Gemini, all of those that are out there. Is the number one thing. A term that I never really used as much as I do now is hallucinations, and I think that's really important. Is that AI can generate plausible but false information. So let me give you an example. Is I wanted to write this really great piece of content, this blog post about search engine optimization, because that's what I do for a living, right? So ChatGPT wrote it for me. I'm like, hey, what are your sources for this? And it gave me 3 sources, and I looked at them, and these were authors I knew. And I'm like, oh, okay, those must be real sources. But then when I looked it up, those were made up. Those didn't exist. So I asked ChatGPT, why did you give me these sources? And it's like, oh, because you asked me. So it was trying to fulfill the request of giving sources, even if it made them up. So that's one of the great things, and one of the differentiators between kind of the AI and the chat portion of it, the generative chat, is that you can actually have a conversation with it, right? So kind of the risk of it is that it's going to give you wrong information, but just like anything else, put on your thinking cap and have a conversation with the AI tool, because it will tell you why it's giving you certain information.
From a business standpoint or even a personal standpoint, should we be careful with the information that we are providing some of these programs for fear that it could get in the wrong hands?
Absolutely. And the reason for that is the AIs are being trained all the time. So just like on social media, if you're not paying for it, you're the product, right? You're the way they're making money. So if you're going to ChatGPT, you're going to Perplexity, you're putting in things, and you're using a free version, it then is using your input, your information to continue to train the system. So I actually talked to someone who is an AI trainer the last week, 2 weeks ago, and he said that companies hire him to intentionally input false information into ChatGPT to diffuse the correct information, any trade secrets out there. Because employees are putting in, this is our model, this is our pricing structure and everything. And then ChatGPT knows that and could give that information to someone else. So someone's hiring his company to intentionally feed wrong information, because that's the only way to get rid of those trade secrets that people are putting into the AI.
Eric, any other tips or tricks you would give to our listeners about some of the best AI tools out there?
Yeah, so just on a closing point, right, is these are just tools. Go out there, have fun, try them out, just like anything else that's new or cutting edge. The only way you're going to really understand it is by trying it out and having fun with it. And so that's my number one tip for everyone.
That is
Wonderful.
Eric Ritter.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
That is Eric Ritter, President and CEO of Digital Neighbor. Tomorrow morning, I'll be joined by St. Louis Alderman Michael Browning to talk about a new traffic study for Lindell Boulevard between Van Deventer and Kings Highway.
County Executive Sam Page under investigation for potential wrongdoing, and we are going to talk to Maria Kina, who is on this story. Also, John Rooney joins the show today. The Cardinals finish up the series with the Marlins. The trade deadline is coming up tomorrow. All of that and more on the Chris and Amy Show, getting started after the news on 104.1 FM KMOX.
This is Tom Ackerman for McKelvey Homes. Move up to McKelvey. McKelvey Homes